I re-downloaded Microsoft Paint the other day.
Yeah.
Because Will Compton's fucking fat-ass body was on.
Fourth time, 45.
That guy's still trying to be in the NFL. Did you see that pic?
Yeah, playoff Willie.
Yikes, dude.
It looks like Bill Gates.
I waited till my second kid to gain 25 pounds. On today's part of my take, we have Daniel Jeremiah to dive into the 2022 draft. It is draft week. We're going to talk some draft with him. We have NBA playoffs. A lot going on this weekend. No series have been decided, so we get all the way into the second week.
No whompings yet.
Thank you very much, David Stern. You've done it again. Send Scott Foster out there whenever you need him. We'll get into that. We got Who's Back, and then we also have a Billy Explains after Daniel Jeremiah. He's going to explain to us a beef between two very rich guys online. And before we get to all of that, we're brought to you by our friends at Coors Light. It's a hectic time of year between weddings, graduations, spring sports, and more, and we're busier than ever right now. So sometimes you forget to take a second for yourselves. This season, take a second to enjoy an ice-cold Coors Light because you deserve a beer that's made to chill. There's only one beer out there that's literally made to chill, and that's Coors Light. The mountains on the bottles and cans even turn blue when your beer is cold. That way you always know when it's time to chill, when you need to hit a reset button. Just open a Coors Light. It's mountain cold refreshment made to chill. It's literally made to chill, as crisp and refreshing as the Colorado Rockies. When I need to have a moment to unwind Friday night, sat down on my couch. I was like, I'm going to have a Coors Light. I'm going to watch the Bulls and the Bucks. And the Coors Light was good. That's what I can say about that game. So when you need a second for yourself, go and reach for that beer that's made to chill. Go to CoorsLight.com/take. You can get it at Drizzly or Instacart. CoorsLight.com/take. Celebrate responsibly. Golden, Colorado. Coors Light, the greatest beer ever created. Okay, let's go. Welcome to Part of My Take, presented by Coors Light. Today is Monday, April 25th, and football is back.
Yes,
Football's back.
Well, also, yeah, the USFL is what we're talking about. We're leading off the show today with the USFL. Kyle Sloter, now 2-0.
Yeah, it's draft week.
Draft week, I can't wait. I'm back into it now. All it took, I think it was my Firefest last week, saying, like, I'm not ready for this draft. It just took talking to Daniel Jeremiah for 30 minutes.
Get you buzzing.
I remember everything now about the draft.
Get you. We're going to have Tom McShay on Wednesday. So we'll have everyone covered draft week this week. I think we talked to it about Daniel Jeremiah that it's maybe not the greatest draft class, and there's no quarterback talk up at the top where it's like 3 or 4 guys going in the first 10 picks. That lessens it, but it's still an interesting draft because it is the NFL draft. Fortunes are made on Thursday night, and we will have Daniel Jeremiah explaining that all in a minute here. Let's talk some ball, though. Let's talk some NBA. We got a lot of series to cover. Which one do we want to start with? Do we want to start with the only series that can still be a sweep?
Yeah, let's start with the only series that's actually a competition between us here on the podcast.
And, so since we last talked about it, the Celtics, it was closer in the final score than it was kind of watching the game. The Nets put out an effort that was less than desirable if you're a Nets fan. Shout out Frank the Tank. The Celtics take a commanding 3-0 lead. We also had the beautiful gems afterwards. One, Ben Simmons it was a 10-day no pain on-ramp to try to play in Game 4. He then woke up after they lost Game 3, woke up on Sunday morning with back pain. Yeah, so he's out.
His back was supposed to be better by now. They said like a week ago that his back will be better by Monday, and then he worked out the other day, woke up in the morning, he's like, my back still hurts.
Ow, my arm. Rodney Dangerfield, Caddyshack.
The rule is 10 days with no pain. I got news for you, buddy. Once you hit your 30s, you're never going to experience 10 days with no pain.
It's just weird how that works,
I'm in pain constantly.
Don't you think
still
that's
young?
Yeah, he is still young. He's still like 24, 25. But don't you think that's weird that they went down 3-0 and his back started hurting again? Especially after wearing, he looked, I think people were saying he looked like Skeeter. Or is that his name from Doug Funny?
Yeah, Skeeter was his best friend.
Skeeter or the Joker. He was wearing an outfit that essentially was saying, look at me at all times, because It was so apparent. He was almost like if
the Nets were all black.
Yeah, the Nets were all black.
All the bench players just wear black cover up.
If Steve Nash had come out afterwards and been like, actually Ben Simmons was dressed as like a play card that we wanted everyone to be able to see him, like the guy who wears, you know how
you have the guy on the sidelines of the NFL that wears the orange mittens that signals for the referees like when the TV timeouts are taking place.
But I was gonna say the Clemson defensive coordinator who is now at Venables, who's now at Oklahoma. He used to wear the bright yellow hat, so his guys could see him. Or like when a catcher used to paint their fingernails fluorescent.
Yeah, I like that.
That's what Ben Simmons looked like on Saturday night. Is there a name for the Barclays Center?
It's just
the bank.
Barclays Center.
Yeah,
just
Barclays Center.
The Brook House.
It's the house that Hank Lockwood built.
It's a
lot of Boston fans in there.
And even in the playing game, that's when Ben Simmons was wearing like the bright green outfit in the middle of the. If you're not going to play, like sit on the end of the bench, right? If you're going to wear something crazy like that, he's actually like the human grocery stick. Where it like divides the guys that are going to get into the game from the guys that are not going to get into the game.
Yes, but it was a ridiculous look, and then to be like, I'm not playing. The takes are flying for him. We also had.
He's actually depriving us of a great opportunity. I think he would be the first person. I saw somebody tweet this. I don't have the name, but like a few people were talking about. He would be the first person that would ever get eliminated from the playoffs in back-to-back games.
Yeah, not even just back-to-back games straight up.
Yeah.
Yes, because the last time we saw him, he was passing up dunks.
Well, Trae Young was about to swat that shit at the rim.
Yeah, so it would have been great to see him out there just for the ridiculous like entertainment value that the Nets season has provided, because it turns out they're maybe not that great of a basketball team. They have two really good players, Hall of Fame players, and
Blake Griffin and Kevin Durant.
Yeah, Blake Griffin. And my favorite quote after was Kyrie Irving said he wishes they had more time to gel. That was Tim Robinson hot dog soup. We're all trying to find the guy who's done this. Like how can he actually say that with a straight face, being like, yeah, the Celtics had all season to play together. We only had the last month.
For some reason.
For some random reason.
No follow-up question.
Yeah, right. It's crazy. And I have a take, and I have something I'd like to throw out there. Is James Harden actually the true winner? Because not saying winner of the trade, but is there a chance James Harden looked around and was like, Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant are losers. I got to get myself out of here?
Well, I think that if you look back to last playoffs, they played better with James Harden injured, basically on one leg last
and then played even better when he was out.
Played better when he was out. The team's just flawed. I mean, it turns out that it takes like sometimes a full season to get good at basketball together. I mean, the Celtics had.
I think people aren't giving the Celtics enough credit.
No, I agree.
No, they're a very fun team to watch. I love watching the Celtics play, but I'm using them as a counterexample. Like the Nets, you could say have more talent at key positions. Barely. I'm not trying to denigrate Jason Tatum here, but they have Kevin Durant, best scorer of his generation probably. Kyrie Irving, top 3-point guard of his generation, and it's like it sometimes takes a longer time than just like 30 games to be able to figure out how to play basketball together.
But I agree with Hank.
Matters.
But I agree with Hank. The Celtics are just a better team. I thought that going into it. When we talked to Russillo, I was like, everyone's talking about Kevin Durant. Is there a chance that Jason Tatum is just as good as Kevin Durant right now in their respective careers? Because obviously Kevin Durant's a little older, a lot of injuries. Like this series, he has been the better player. That's not even debatable.
Offensive and defensive.
Yeah, right, exactly. So the Celtics are just the better team, and the Nets are, they're a mirage. Everyone wanted to buy into them because they have the guys that are great and fun to watch. And there's no revisionist history here, because there are a lot of people who are like, they're a 7 seed for a reason. They were the second favorite to come out of the East. So people were believing in them, and the Celtics just have whomped them.
Yeah, it's been a whomping. It's been a whomping. They've been whomping me personally.
It has been tough for you to watch these games.
My take could not have been any more incorrect. I knew it after the second game, too. I was like, I should not have picked this team. The Celtics are – I think that they're like the most complete team in the East right now. I don't hate the fact that Hank has a future on the Celtics, winning the national championship, as we say. Who else? You had Duke?
Yep.
How'd that work out? It was a parlay, right?
Yep.
Okay. But
I also had the Celtics individually, but yeah.
As of last night, 4 a.m.
Yeah.
Smart. I love it. But I do love watching the Celtics play. They're so much fun.
Hank walked in, and I just looked at his eyes, and I was like, "Oh my God, you're hungover."
Yeah,
it's a
that got away from me. It was a big win. It was a big win.
You know what we can also bring back from last year? I feel like this next game for the Nets, this is probably a Kevin Durant legacy game.
Yeah,
you can't get swept in the first round.
Here's the thing, though. It is very funny that LeBron has to be loving this. He's been tweeting a lot, but he has to be loving it because every time Kevin Durant has a bad game, and this is just how the online discourse works and how we debate sports, but every time he has a bad game, LeBron wins weirdly because everyone's like, you tried to put Kevin Durant and LeBron on the same pedestal, and like people were showing, which is a good point, that Game 7, I think 2018, when LeBron was playing with a bunch of bums on the Cavs and they went into Boston and won Game 7. It's like that's LeBron put up crazy numbers and carried the team. I don't know. I love watching Kevin Durant play basketball, but he's not LeBron James.
No, he's not.
He never really was.
You can't get swept in the first round if you're Kevin Durant. The takes this offseason will just suffocate him.
At what point?
Drowning in takes.
At what point? At what point has it been the worst for you personally? Because you did say the whomping.
I'd say.
Was it Game 2, Game 3? Because Game 1 was a buzzer beater.
Game 1,
like, this is a series.
Game 1, I felt good afterwards. I was like, we almost stole that one. Game 2 is when I just realized that the Celtics are for real.
Yeah,
I'm officially putting my stamp on it. That's a PFT.
And the Nets stink.
That's a PFT stamp. The Celtics are for real.
And the Nets stink.
Being at the game, there was a lot of Celtics fans, a lot of cheering for the Celtics fans, not a lot of Nets cheers. The biggest cheer by far, no bias, was the Blake Griffin pop when he went in the game, and then when he hit those threes. That was like the only time that people got excited in the venue.
I started to believe at that point. I was like, Blake is an impact player, sixth man of the year.
Dude, his heat check 3 was electric. I thought it was going in. I was excited. Yeah, and now the takes are flying. Kevin Durant's getting a lot. Kyrie Irving, Stephen A. Smith had a whole breakdown this morning where he was like, Kyrie Irving is the greatest professional at not showing up to work. And I was like, you know what? That's actually fair.
I don't even think he's the best professional at not showing up to work on his team.
Yeah, I guess now he has Ben Simmons. Yeah, but I think the stat was he's played 47% of the games that he's been on the Nets, which is a tough one. And I don't really know what the Nets do at this point because Kyrie Irving can opt out. They'll probably just fire Steve Nash because they can.
I was going to say their move this offseason, if they want to shake things up, fire Steve Nash, not necessarily because he's done like an awful job as head coach, but because like that's a very easy move to make.
It also is weird. I did see, I'm not in the blame Steve Nash camp just because it's impossible to deal with what he's had to deal with. The one quote that made me like
that's your job as the coach, though,
right?
No? Like,
right. Well,
at some level,
he said something like Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant are gassed because they had to play 40+ minutes the last month and a half. Did they really have to? Like, I know they were still in the play-in, but he does control the minutes. Mm-hmm. He does control the minutes, so he does get to decide that.
Yeah, it's just about you got to pretty much like bring in a guy. You got to go one of two ways: bring in a guy that like Kyrie already loves.
Or Phil Jackson.
Or you bring in a guy that has such an ego and such a personality that he's going to come in and just shit on everybody.
Yes.
I tend to lean towards the latter.
The Celtics also got their second best defensive player back.
Yes.
And he looked great.
No, they're a complete team. They're playing lights out basketball. Mm-hmm. What I tell you, Hank, too, I said the karma will go in the Celtics' favor for not ducking the Nets. Like the Bucks have had the karma factor with Chris Middleton. The Celtics they're probably the healthiest team now. It's been the playoffs of injuries. They're probably the healthiest team as we're standing right now. Someone will probably get hurt.
Knock on wood.
Yeah, I know. It feels like every night someone gets hurt, including Anthony Edwards, who just had to take a shit. But yeah, we're going to game 4.
Yep.
It would be hilarious if the two things would be hilarious. One, if the Nets are the only team to get swept in the first round, and for Knicks fans, Bing Bong, remember Bing Bong? That was fun. Knicks fans to be able to say that they have the same amount of playoff wins as the Nets this season would be very fun.
Yeah, I think I like the Nets' chances in this game. Now, if they win this one, does Ben Simmons play in game 5?
Dude, he's got his 10-day reset.
He has to do a full 10-day reset?
Hank, are you going to hedge?
He's healthy, though. Right?
Yeah.
Am I insane to just be like,
yes.
Ben Simmons is healthy, he just doesn't want to lose in his only game this season.
Correct.
And then have that be the mark of Ben Simmons for the entire offseason.
Correct.
He
doesn't want to get dunked on.
He doesn't want to get dunked on. I don't want to get dunked on either. But
he doesn't want to get dunked on. Hank, are you going to hedge? Because Hank has 4-1.
Yeah.
You will?
I'll pick the Celtics.
I mean, there's no reason not to, right?
So we will be in the house.
With Frank the Tank.
And the whomping could occur there. I'm thinking that we just bring our dip into the stadium. And if they lose, if they do get swept, just do it right there in our seats at the end of the game.
Tune into PM TV on Tuesday. Drops on Tuesday. Bubba does a great job with them. Wednesday. I knew that. Wait, did they change?
Yeah, because when we record, it doesn't make sense to put things out that come in.
Makes sense. So Wednesday's YouTube. We won't spoil it. It'll either be right after the game, and it'll be on PM TV. It will be on PM TV regardless. So tune in, subscribe to the YouTube.
Me and Hank were at the game Saturday. A very funny part of it was Hank just looked at me dying laughing during one of the Nets timeouts when you could see Ben Simmons walk out in his outfit, and he just goes, "Look at this clown."
Because I didn't see when it was just like I saw him out of the corner of my eyes. I was like, oh my god!
Yeah.
Like when I saw his outfit, we were in the it was from a distance. I was like. Stood out like you looked like a traffic cone.
Hank, it's all you could see on TV. Like your eye just went to it every single time they were on that side of the court. It was ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous. The fact he's not playing is ridiculous.
Yeah, if I were him, I would try to draw as little attention to myself as possible.
Yeah,
right. Like that, he's making himself the topic of conversation by dressing like if the Joker was in a ska band.
Yeah,
like everyone's like, "Oh, look at that guy! Look at this!" Like Hank says, like he's the only thing that you see.
It's crazy.
Like, if I were him, I probably wouldn't even be on the bench. Maybe I'd be like the row behind where I'm mostly covered up.
Maybe it's like the only thing I can think of is his PR team is a true bona fide like no such thing as bad publicity. Because I mean
they've done a great job. Then
when I take the train from Brooklyn into New York for work, there's like billboards with Ben Simmons as the featured player. It's like what. If I were Ben Simmons, I'd probably wait till I was in a game before I was on all the marketing material.
Do you think he has a PR team?
Yeah.
They must be the most inept group of people.
But they're getting buzz. No, they probably are like, their PR team just judges mentions on Twitter.
Yeah, hey, Ben.
He's got the greatest Q rating of all time.
Ben, buy a house next to the Kardashians and then don't show up to work for a year.
Yeah. It will work. People will talk about you. All right, what series do you want to go to next? Dealer's choice.
I do love Peyton Pritchard.
Yeah,
Hank was
fast
right.
PP.
I do love it. He looks the most like a fan of the team that he plays on of any player in the NBA, I think.
He's got ice in his veins. Let's start Wolves.
Yeah.
Wolves?
The Wolves are back.
Fucking Wolves.
3-0 on protest games. The protest that the security guard was maybe the greatest tackle, like court vision I've ever seen. If you didn't see the video, because it was late night on Saturday, the Timberwolves, yet again, they're protesting Glenn Taylor, who, by the way, he's fucking these chickens.
I looked it up.
Like, there's no way, there's nothing else that you can be this mad about.
I looked it up. I was actually shocked when I saw the numbers myself.
How many?
Guess how many birds this man has killed?
300,000.
No.
Not even close.
Way off.
Okay.
Wait, but like killing them for food?
No.
But didn't they get sick?
They had the bird flu, the avian flu, and so he had to cull the herd of chickens because it would spread the disease to the other chickens that were there.
That's fair.
And make it a much bigger problem.
So he killed chickens to save chickens' lives.
Exactly, yes.
Okay.
He killed 5.3 million chickens.
Is that a lot?
That's like a lot. That's a shitload of chickens.
Yeah, but they raise chickens to kill them anyway.
Exactly.
It's not like chickens live good lives.
Right.
Yeah, these chickens were going to end up in a sandwich.
Right.
Regardless.
And now, and they also, let's just focus on the positive. How many chickens' lives did he save?
I mean, if you look at the 5.3 million chickens that he killed, there's probably hundreds and hundreds of millions of chickens out there that he did not kill.
Right. So and also that didn't get the bird flu.
That are healthy.
Yeah, that didn't get the bird flu. But anyway, the protester, they're getting smarter. It was a woman who was dressed as an NBA ref. She was planning on going on the court and throwing Glenn Taylor out of the game, which I think Glenn Taylor was right in front of her.
That would have been so
That
funny.
was the weirdest part. Like, why didn't she just put him in like a hold or something?
Yeah, or dump fake blood on him?
Yeah, do something. But either way, she tried to run on the court. This security guard
Edwards finds the cutter. Beverly floats it. Towns wrestles through. Jackson went down. Towns can't go in. Loose ball. Beverly trying to save it, and we have a fan ran out on the floor.
Like, this is what security guards dream of. This is every night they go to sleep, and they're like, I hope that someone tries to rush the court like on my watch. And he was so ready for it because she had an accomplice next to her that basically he was brilliant. She lifted up her phone to videotape it, and then the protester ran like 3 seconds later. The guy hopped over the first row, tackled her. They dragged her out like
Like
she
a
looked
child.
like she was going to the gulag.
It was like a child. Yeah.
And I was like, at this moment, I was like, you know what? The Timberwolves are good. They're 3-0. That's analytics. 3-0 in protest
That's
games.
what we said after that last
Yes.
game where they blew 2 20-point leads.
Yes.
They need a protester to break this shit up.
3-0.
It gets all the momentum on your side. If I was Glenn Taylor, I would hire a protester to come to the next game. Like, you talk about like a PR coup. We're talking about Glenn Taylor and his chicken farms.
Right.
They've probably never had this publicity in their lives before.
I didn't even know he had him.
Probably good. That's the only thing that I know about the man.
It's incredible. The Wolves win.
He's the Hitler of chickens.
Yeah.
And if you have a protest that comes out during a game, you just win playoff games.
Yes. And it just happens that way. And the T-Wolves are back.
That's all that happens when you get a protester on the court.
And shout out Karl Anthony Towns.
The security guard was watching that woman like a hawk, too.
Yes.
Like staring wasn't even making any bones about it. He's like, I'm watching you because I know what you're up to.
And he was on it.
Great first step. Looked like DK chasing down Buda Baker.
And the angle
Great
was
angle.
perfect. It was a perfect angle.
The Saints could never.
To cut her off just right at the perfect spot. In the T-Wolves, Karl Anthony Towns, turns out he just needed like the entire internet to call him a fraud and a pussy. And he then played a great game. He was aggressive. He was like, he learned a lesson that every NBA star knows, but I guess Karl Anthony Towns had to learn, is you can play bad. You can't play bad and have 4 shots, because then everyone will be like, are you serious? Yeah, right. So he was shooting early and often, had a great game. Anthony Edwards, his knee exploded, and then everyone on the internet was like, this is a shame. This is a true shame, because, you know, he's an exciting player. And he basically did the perfect thing where he went in the locker room. He had everyone talk about, like, eulogize his career. And then he came out and was fine.
It's like what happened to Giannis last year.
Yeah.
Remember that? We don't talk about that enough. When Giannis clearly tore his ACL on television, we all saw it, and he was like, just give me like 3 days off. I'm going to go eat 50 nuggets at Chick-fil-A, and I'll be fine. It'll just regenerate.
Yes.
Pat Bev actually was smart after their most recent loss when he said after the game, it looked bad, but it didn't feel as bad as it really was, which is, like, I know that doesn't necessarily make sense to read those words, but it kind of does. If you, like, he just experienced maybe the most embarrassing playoff loss in a long time.
Right.
When you blow 2 20-point leads in the same game.
Ben Simmons, remember?
Yeah, then him. Yeah, that's true. That was embarrassing too. But then he's like, you know what? I know it's bad, but for some weird reason, I don't feel bad about it.
Right.
That's the best attitude that you can possibly have afterwards. Just like complete and utter denial. Moving into this one, and he played well.
Yeah. No, everyone had written them off, including ourselves. I did bet the Timberwolves because before the game I was like, I'm back in.
I'm still done with the Timberwolves.
I was back in. I'm back in.
I'm out as a favor to Minnesota fans because the second I get back in, they'll do something absolutely stupid.
No, I was like, I'm back in. I can't. This team is too much fun. And the other part of it is John Morant is unfortunately just bad right now. Did you see the stat that John Morant has more tweets than field goals made in the playoffs?
Same.
Yeah.
That's tough.
29
That's real
tweets,
tough.
29 tweets, 24 field goals made. And shout out Anthony Edwards' dog, Ant Jr., who we talked about. He's live tweeting insults.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he was live tweeting during the game.
The dog was?
Yes.
Who runs the dog's
I don't know.
account? The dog.
But
the dog does.
Like, think about how next level that is. To have your dog talking trash to the opponents in the middle of the game. He was saying
I gotta look up his dog's account.
I saw it happening. I was laying in bed watching the game on my phone, and then I went back to Twitter, and Anthony Edwards' dog, Ant Jr., was tweeting about the game. So I want every player to do this, and then LeBron will probably do it and ruin it for everyone.
I'm trying to find his dog's Twitter.
He might have deleted it. No, he didn't. No, he was live tweeting the game. Yeah, he was live tweeting the game. It was incredible. So shout out to Anthony Edwards for having Ant Jr. be his mouthpiece during a game.
I love that.
Yeah. What do we want to go to next? Billy, you decide which series next.
Whichever one's the best one.
Okay.
Can you name another series?
Heat culture.
I was watching boxing this weekend.
Give us another series. Can you name another series?
The Heat.
And
The Pelicans.
That's going on right
watching
now.
it on
so
TV
yeah,
right now.
Yep.
Pelicans
Yeah,
and
the
the
Suns won on
Suns.
Friday night. Any other one?
who is Denver playing, Billy?
Denver is playing the Warriors.
Yes. Good job, Billy.
We just watched that
Let's go.
We did just watch that game.
Jokic deserves an MVP
Yeah,
because they didn't get swept.
the defense that he played on that at the end of that game was amazing on that inbounds play.
Yes, he did. He called it.
I think Russillo was joking about that.
No, he
What?
did. No,
he called
did.
it. No,
He did?
Jokic said it's going to
On
be
the sideline?
Yeah.
What a great defensive play.
Yeah, no,
Defensive player of the year.
He legitimately was like the coach there, and he was like, "Watch out for the lob."
Incredible.
Yeah,
That's
so
why
he
you
deserves credit.
That's why you take him out of the game. He's more valuable as a coach on the sideline at the end of the games.
Yeah, no, he was that it was tough watching Jokic have to play Steph Curry one-on-one.
Oh, my
Because they
God.
just basically every Golden State possession down the stretch, they're like, let's just pick and roll till we get Jokic on Steph, and then Steph will do whatever he wants. But he did actually call that lob and called it correctly. And I know people were very upset about it. I was more upset that Andrew Wiggins missed that putback. But the series goes back to San Francisco, and yeah, the Nuggets. The Nuggets having pride there, I'm now believing, not fully believing, your love for the Nuggets next year because I still think Michael Porter Jr. is going to be injured no matter what. But
it's fun to
having
think about.
pride there is actually something.
They have
the
something
Nets
they
are not
can
going to
build
have
on.
that pride on Monday night.
Right.
They're not.
They have something that they can build on, Denver. That's
Yes.
all you wanted out of this entire season.
And just not laying
And,
down.
Yeah, all you wanted out of these playoffs. You weren't going to beat the Warriors in a 7-game series. Steph Curry, the mouthpiece antics are just at an all-time high for him. He's when he shoots his foul shots, he always chews the mouthpiece in the same
He missed
direction.
4 today.
It's all because his mouthpiece is gouging his eye out.
Yeah.
When he's at the line, I've never seen the mouthpiece get that high up his face before.
Steph being, on again, off again injured and having, the Warriors be on again, off again injured for the last 3 or 4 years was basically the greatest thing he could do for his career because I love him so much
Yeah.
again.
Now the Warriors are so fun.
Yeah, they're back to just being the team that everyone can watch and be like, this is fun to watch, not, oh, we're going to see the Warriors in the finals again. That's what we were doing at the end of the 2015 to 19, whatever that run was.
Yeah, we took a little pause.
Yeah.
We just kind of cleansed ourselves of the Warriors.
Feels good.
Got rid of the burn factor.
Yep.
Now we're back. Now everybody, I feel like
Clay.
Yeah, Clay is so fun to watch. Draymond,
Yes, I liked how you said that.
the whole squad.
Yeah.
Whole squad.
See him
back.
talking smack to the crowd after he fouled out.
Yeah, that was great.
That's cool.
It was unfortunate he fouled out because that kind of also cost him the game because he is very, very important for
Well,
our defense.
yeah, especially like at the start of the game, you could tell that this was going to be one of those Draymond games where he was just going to do some stupid shit because he was just slapping Jokic.
Well, Friday night was that was Friday night, right? The pickpocket, or was that Thursday night? Time doesn't even exist anymore. It's like basically go to work during the weekdays and then watch NBA till 1 a.m. or on the weekends like parent and then watch NBA till 1 a.m. and I'm just kind of a blur from all of it. I don't remember when that was.
I don't
but
remember when that was either.
That pickpocket was incredible in Game 3. The winning play.
Jokic's arms, it's amazing how much cardio this guy has to do on a daily basis. No definition whatsoever.
No.
He's just got like big sacks of meat hanging from his shoulders.
He's
so cool to watch
Yeah.
when he's passing the ball.
And when he's just he's always on one foot. He's fun to watch. He's very, very fun to watch. And he now officially, I feel okay with him getting the MVP.
Yep, I'm fine with that.
I'm actually going to send in my vote tomorrow.
What about the Jokic brothers? Are they courtside?
I don't think so.
I would love to see Draymond like getting into a fight
I'd
against
take
both of them.
Draymond in that.
Against-
I'd take Draymond against anyone.
Against both of the Jokic's?
I would take Draymond against
Absolutely
anyone.
not. I don't think
Draymond has the irrational confidence that I don't think it can be stopped against anyone. I know that's crazy to say. I know it's crazy to say. I'd take him against anyone.
the Jokic brothers I would take against any set of brothers.
Same.
What about Frank and Sly Stallone?
Yeah, easy. They're old.
In their heyday.
In their heyday, do they have guns?
Yes, obviously he's Rambo, dude.
Okay, then
What are you talking about? Does he have
yeah,
guns?
I would take
He's got
them.
guns and knives.
I would take them against Frank. They would eliminate Frank, and then Sly would shoot him.
Yeah, what are you gonna say, Bill?
Klitschko brothers.
Oh,
Jokic
that's
brothers.
a good one.
I think that would be the
Klitschko, I
best
think
matchup.
win.
Yeah.
That's a good matchup.
I think they win. Yeah. What
They-
about the wasn't the
have guns.
mountain? What's the Game of Thrones?
He doesn't have a brother.
Well,
Even
even
though
if
he doesn't Game of Thrones. What about
the
Kane and
Hound.
Undertaker? I'd take Kane and Undertaker over him.
if the Mountain just had like a regular sized brother, I would probably take the Mountain.
The
and
Hound,
regular
yeah.
The Hound, the fictional.
the fictional brother.
Kane and
Yeah.
Undertaker would take him.
Maybe.
Yes, dude,
No, Kane's a mayor now.
What?
Kane's out of the game.
they would fucking dominate him. I'm also talking peak. All right, next series we might as well just talk about the Bulls Bucks. Grayson Allen is my daddy. There's nothing more I can say.
So the Bucks.
He is. He owns me. He owns my life.
So the Bucks have figured out exactly how to treat Grayson Allen and what the most fun way to get the most out of him is, which is now his own teammates are booing him during games. That's what we've all been doing for years. They're discovering how fun it is. I feel like Grayson Allen doesn't play well when he's this loved guy.
Yeah,
when he has like a home crowd rooting for him, or even like, you know, if his teammates are cheering him on too much, he's a guy that likes to play when people fucking hate his guts.
He was awesome today. He was 6 for 7 from 3. On Friday's show when I was saying I was optimistic and like, hey, who knows? Remember I said I even broke it down. I was like, hey, if the Bulls can win one at the United Center, then it's a 3-game series. The bad Bulls showed back up. I guess I'm happy that they didn't get swept, but they're just not a good basketball team. And the Bucks are a really good basketball team. And Bobby Portis, like, that was the other part. Chris Middleton, got hurt in that game too, but Bobby Portis also left that game early. He's very important. The Bucks are just really good. I don't know what to say.
Is there bad blood between Portis and the Bulls?
Well,
Or
no.
not the current administration,
Mirotic
right?
was his guy. No, I think Bobby Portis has bad blood against anyone he's playing. That's why you love Bobby Portis.
Yeah, he is fun.
And his glasses are cool, and he hits threes. And the Bulls stink. They basically, the worst part about this weekend for the Bulls is that was the first time they had a home playoff game in 5 years, and they gave the fans 0 seconds to cheer. Like, the Bucks jumped on them both games so fast that it wasn't even one of those things where the crowd could get into it. The crowd was just sucked out of it instantly, and the Bucks are back to being juggernaut. And Chris Middleton being out obviously hurts against the Celtics next round, but fuck, I wouldn't go against Giannis in anything at this point.
So if I was the Celtics, I would rather play the Bucks right now with no Middleton than play against the Heat. You know, like if you had to design who you
they are.
go, what's that?
They are going to play the Bucks.
Yeah, I know. I'm
Yeah.
saying that like I'm okay with that if I'm the Celtics. I'm probably less intimidated by that team because they've not Hank's saying no.
Intimidated by nothing.
By nothing. Absolutely nothing. But
No,
I
the
feel like
karma
that's
breaks well for you guys.
I feel like that's a good matchup for you guys.
Every matchup's a good matchup.
Damn.
Hank's got that look in his eye.
Yeah, he does.
He's a winner.
He's fucking hungover and wants to puke. It's a combo look. It's a combo look. But yeah, the Bulls. Grayson Allen owns me. There's nothing more I can say. He Friday and Sunday.
And 2015.
All right. Yes, that's implied.
Oh. Well, it's always good to give context for those that aren't. Those new listeners, maybe they haven't been listening to the show for.
They don't know what sports
the last
happened.
2 weeks. Grayson Allen was on Duke. What happened, Jake?
A lot of people said that
exactly?
guy who gave away the puppy, my friend, should be executed.
Yeah, that one.
It's my
that
friend,
went
though.
way over my head.
It's my good friend, so
Same.
I don't want him to be executed. I just want him to go to jail.
I really don't know how it went over your guys' head. We were laying it on pretty thick.
I know why. Afterwards, I was like, "Who's your friend?" He's like, "Are you fucking serious?"
And like, there was a couple people who were like, I didn't get it either because I'm not online all the time. I was like, that's fine, but like, I did tweet about Coach K's new puppy like 5 or 6 times. I can't do anything. You gotta be watching everything Coach K does. The guy will fucking kill a dog. You'll look one way, you'll be like, hey, look at that fucking rainbow over there. Boom, another puppy dead.
Yeah, he's like he's the Glenn Taylor. Is that his name?
Yeah,
the
puppies.
Glenn Taylor of puppies.
Yeah, puppies. All right, next series, Sixers. Embiid is actually hurt. I don't know what to say to Sixers fans. I saw a lot of Sixers fans being like, no, he's fine. This was now before the game that was played this weekend, but when it was initially announced, like, oh, he hurt it in the third quarter and then he hit a game winner. Watching him on Saturday, he can't even high five.
So it's an issue where it's the thumb ligament where it's going to continue to hurt like shit, and it's a pain management issue.
He needs surgery.
He needs surgery on it, but like it's structurally intact enough to physically play basketball, but he's still in a shitload of pain.
He couldn't high five.
He can't high five. He can't shake hands. He probably is, it's going to affect the shooting motion a little bit, no matter how much he thinks that he can just like power his way through it. And when you don't have Embiid playing at his best, that's when you get Doc Rivers being Doc Rivers, stepping up and trying to figure out a way to win when you don't have your best player playing 100%. And they had 4 baskets in 10.5 minutes.
Yeah, it was bad. It was an ugly game. It was an early game. And as LeBron showed us, he said, man, playing a game before noon should be outlawed. 8 a.m. game is insane. I don't know if he knows how time zones work.
Where is he right now?
I don't know. Is he in Hawaii?
He might be in Monaco. That would, because it wouldn't be.
No, he'd be in the other way.
The other way around.
No, he's either in California or Hawaii.
Well, California, I'm pretty sure that it's not.
No, it would have been 9 a.m.
9 a.m.
Or it would have been 10 a.m. when the Bulls game
So
started.
when I saw him tweet that,
I
I
think
thought
he's talking about his kids' game.
Kids
yeah,
games?
yeah, I thought he was either talking about like an AAU
I just like
game,
him talking about maybe that he was talking about an NBA game.
or he's a fan of Chelsea, right? He was probably watching the Chelsea.
Maybe
game.
that's it too.
In
yeah.
which case, also yes, you don't know how time zones work.
Yes,
but he's on a heater.
I mean,
this
he was
postseason.
tweeting it at 9:47 a.m., which was 13 minutes before the Bulls and Bucks tipped.
Mm-hmm.
So that is probably he might have been talking about that.
I saw in his Instagram post he's drunk off tequila, just dancing on a beach by himself.
Yeah,
just wandering off, going through some sort of schizophrenic break.
And he put down a nice guarantee. I can/will not. It was like a Smitty tweet. I can/will not miss the postseason again for my career. This shit hurt. Okay, back to watching these games. Same energy as when I say like I'm gonna win all my bets today. I say it, but I don't. I know it's not true.
I like how he was complimenting JJ Redick, and he was like, he's low key / high key, very funny.
Yeah,
I don't know what that means. I get it. I think he just means funny.
Yeah, love hearing JJ Redick on the game. Smart, insightful dude, and low key / high key funny.
Yeah, both. Billy,
He's
can you
mid-key
translate
funny.
that?
It means that like you don't think he's funny, but then he's really funny, but he's so good at just timing that it's low key.
So funny. You're talking about funny.
He's funny.
He's just funny.
He's just funny. You can just say he's funny, LeBron. I think the Sixers will still beat the Raptors in 5.
Ooh.
But I'm worried about the Embiid.
That's a womp.
Yeah, it would be a womp.
Mm-hmm.
It would be a womp. It would officially be a womp because it does. I know that there's the conspiracy theory. Everyone's got a conspiracy theory, but I always do think I broke my own rule today when it was 3-0, and I probably break it tomorrow night or tonight with the Celtics Nets game. Like never bet on the sweep just because Adam Silver will call in the dogs to make sure we get one more game.
If we're looking at any of these series, like Scott Foster's got to ref Monday.
Yeah,
right?
he was in Toronto, Philly.
Yeah, but they got to bring him in for Nets Celtics.
Yeah, he's flying around, just making sure series keep going.
Like if you're Adam Silver and that series is like your ratings cash cow, you need this to be extended. That's why I'm like dangerously confident to bet on the Nets on Monday because #NBA rigged. They're going to figure out a way to stretch this out.
Yes. Other series, Pelicans Suns is happening right now, so apologies. I guess we'll talk about it on Tuesday. I think the Pelicans are going to win this game. Boom, there you go. I bet on them. 9,000 units.
Okay. I think I like the Pelicans too.
There we go. The blender. The Mincy's there. The king.
I saw Mincy was on the pregame Jumbotron again.
Twice. 2 times in a row.
2 times in a row. That's all-time streak.
It's crazy.
Wow.
He's also like one of the first 5 people in the arena.
What a guy.
But he did it.
Yep.
He did it. The king. Fucking love that guy.
That guy never sleeps, never stops working.
Mayor of New Orleans, trying to get the win for the boys at the blender. Heat, get rid of the Hawks. I'm done with the Hawks.
Yeah, I agree. I like Spoelstra's goatee though.
Yes.
The goatee that he's grown out, it's like gray. He looks kind of like a vegan Jeff Fisher.
Yep.
He's got like he's always like, he is wet. He's one of the wet coaches.
Yes. He's just sopping. And then, and Jay Butt had an awesome game.
Yeah.
I'm the Hawks. I'm ready for the take that was it bad that Trae Young went to the Eastern Conference Final last year? Because it's one of those situations where they feel like their
starting center got injured.
No, I know Clint Capella, but I think the Heat
Clint's
are
back.
better.
Clint played today, right?
Did he?
I'm pretty sure he came back. Yeah.
Didn't help.
Yeah, he scored 2 points in 21 minutes.
There we go.
Nice.
C-Man's back.
But you know what I mean? When a team gets that far and they're like, "Oh, we did something."
Yeah, I'm more of the mindset.
I'm just ready
of
for that take. I don't know if I believe it, but I'm ready for it.
I might be more the mindset of like, you can't win a championship when your best player is a guard.
Yeah.
Like is a primary ball handler.
Yeah.
But then the Golden State Warriors might fuck me up on that one a little bit.
The Golden State Warriors would definitely fuck you up on that one, big time.
But I'm eager to say it about Trae Young.
I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's every series. Did we miss any?
Billy, what did we miss?
You talk Dallas, Utah.
Oh, no,
Jazz,
I was
yeah.
going to just skip it and have people be mad about it, but we
Sorry,
could talk
I
about
ruined
it.
that.
No,
Sorry.
that's fine. That's fine.
I mean, what is there to say about it?
Fuck
Luke is
you,
back.
Jake. I hope you have to take all that dip.
Luke is back. That's cool.
You're not alone.
Yeah.
These two teams are fighting to see who's going to be the sacrificial lamb in the next round. That's basically all the analysis that you need there.
It was nice. Rudy Gobert and Donovan Mitchell had that moment where it's like they don't hate each other right at the end when they threw that lob, and then afterwards it was very Kirk Cousins, Mike Zimmer body language where they like did a chest bump, but it was a little too aggressive where it's like one of them was maybe trying to hurt the other one. And then Rudy Gobert had the only moment that I've ever said, oh, I kind of like the Utah Jazz, because they asked about, the reporter after asked about like what's the talk has been that you guys haven't gotten along and this team is going to get blown up. And he just said, fuck the talk.
What is the potential of this Utah group? Fuck the talk. We just try to be the best team we can be. We try to enjoy the moment. And whatever happens, happens.
On live television.
Yeah, so he's not mad.
Yeah, which is great. I love it.
Print it in the newspaper that I didn't get mad.
Yeah.
I think that there's probably something to be said for just like playing in Utah. If you're a young guy and you're looking to have fun, you probably don't bond as well with teammates as closely as you would in a city where there's ample like clubs and trouble to get into and stuff.
That's probably true.
Some of the best friends that you ever make in your life are the ones that you almost get arrested with.
Yeah.
Are actually the ones that you do get arrested with.
Not the ones you drink milk with.
Exactly. Not the ones that you go out to a bar and you drink 3% beer and then you go home at 7:30.
Yeah.
I actually think that there's probably something to that.
Yeah. And Luka was awesome, but I also I got a dad take. I am a dad, so I can say it. I love Luka. He's awesome. He's so much fun to watch. Sometimes the one-on-one ball's too much. Like there were moments.
You don't like
there
Luka
were
ISO?
moments in the game where he was just. I think he was trying to dribble the air out of the ball.
I love
That's a true dad take to say that.
it is, and I know where you're coming from, but I love it when Luka does it. And I love it when Kyrie does it. And those are the two guys that they're probably the hardest dribblers.
The only reason I say that too is that, and maybe. I mean, maybe you can blame Jalen Brunson for not taking that last possession to the hole because he definitely had a step, but he wants to defer to Luka because Luka is by far the best player on the team. He's one of the best players in the league, and I love 95% of his game. But there felt like a couple possessions where guys were just standing around, and this is a team that was up 2-1. It's not like they were floundering without him. Obviously, they need him to progress further, but it felt like there were times where he was just dribbling between his legs and then hoping a step back would hit. And usually a step back does hit because he's Luka.
Well, what usually happens with Luka towards the end of games is he'll do that where he dribbles a lot. And it's kind of like when you or I are playing pickup and it's getting towards the end of the game where everyone's just tired, so everyone's just settling for the first pull-up opportunity that we have, even if we're going to completely airball it. Luka does that. He'll dribble the ball a lot, and he'll tire himself out by dribbling too much.
Yeah.
And then he'll be like, oh, fuck it, I guess I'm just going to shoot it now.
Luka's also starting five member of guy who moves slow but somehow still beats guys. It's very like Paul Pierce-esque where he's moving slowly, but the angles he takes are so good and precise. Dirk, too, like where he'll beat guys, and you're like, how did he beat him? It's not like he's doing it with speed. He's just doing it with ball handling, angles, his body, using his body in the right way. It's incredible to watch. Like I said, I love Luka. Every now and then I'm like, dude, just pass the ball.
I think he's also strong. He's like low-key, high-key strong.
Dude, he's got an ass.
Yeah.
He fucking throws that thing around.
So he just like puts his ass in between you and the ball.
You can't do anything about it.
And you can't get through an ass.
Correct.
No matter how hard you try.
Correct. So Luka back. Good weekend of basketball. Playoffs are the best, and we're going to have hockey playoffs coming up.
So Jake and I were talking about this earlier because he was like, 7 games feels like a lot for the first round. And I was like, yeah, it used to be 5 until 2003. They changed it to 7. And I think we're on the mindset that we missed the 5-game first rounds.
Yeah, I agree. The 5-game first round, when you think 5-game first round, what's your one memory? Because I know I have one, and it's seared forever. I think most NBA fans have it.
I don't really have a memory of a 5. I was going to say the Dikembe Mutombo.
With the ball under his head.
And he was crying.
And they beat the Sonics.
That was amazing.
Yes, that to me is a quintessential 5-game series where it's like the underdog was able to beat the superior team because it was 5 games, and it's just a lot more chaos can happen in 5 games. And I did say when we were having this discussion that I'm happy it's not this year because I would have really bought in on the Bulls beating the Bucks after game 2.
Yeah, if you get one win, you're
like, oh God, we got this.
It's a 3-game
and
series.
2 games at home after.
Yeah,
yeah, it would have been.
But 7 games is a lot. I mean, it's fun right now in the moment. But I'm also, if we're running a marathon, I'm like looking ahead, and I'm already starting to get like a slight cramp in my left leg.
Oh,
and I'm like,
totally.
wait, I've got 22 miles left to go,
dude. I mean, I think it's the time too. The fact that every game, there's always a game that starts at like 9:30 or 10 o'clock, has just made it a complete blur.
I
love it, but it's also, 5 games would have been. I agree with you. 5 games would be a lot cooler
for the kids. Don't have it be this late at night, this many nights in a row for the children out there.
Yes. And Hank's Celtics are going to win the title, as first heard on Pardon My Take.
Yeah, I'm feeling good in the marathon. I'm looking ahead. I'm looking at my watch, trying to shave off seconds of my mile.
You're running negative splits right now. You're picking up speed along the way.
Yeah.
Nothing scares you.
Injuries.
That's it.
But you're healthy.
You can only beat yourself.
Yeah.
Wow. Look at that.
What about Ime? Where are we at on him?
Genius?
I don't think he's a genius.
Low-key, high-key genius?
I think he's a low-key, high-key, great, fantastic coach.
Low-key, high-key better than Brad Stevens.
Low-key.
I mean,
I think, that's low-key.
Yeah.
I think he's low-key better than Brad Stevens.
Yeah.
He's had a better year. I think it's a team effort. It's a group. Like, Brad Stevens is still very much involved.
You guys did have an unfair advantage of being able to gel more than the Nets, though.
True.
Yeah.
And he did.
That was not right what you did.
He was on the staff last year for the Nets, and I saw some quotes where they were like, "Yeah, it doesn't help that Ime was like with us and knows all our tendencies and stuff."
That's a pretty fair point.
Not really. Yeah, but like,
you saw the Kevin Durant
change your strategy.
Yeah, Kevin Durant. That clip was going viral. Him at the Olympics, telling Ime like, "You think the Celtics are going to beat us?" And here we are, about to be a whomping, an official whomping. Okay, let's do some Who's Back. Then we have NFL talk. Daniel Jeremiah.
I was just going to say Jake's very nervous about the whomping. So he came into the office today and he was like, I've been Googling what happens to you when you dip. And Jake was like, one website said that if you swallow it, you'll die.
We all would have been dead by now, Jake.
You're not going to die, Jake. Not on my watch.
I hope not.
Not on my watch.
I'll give you Heimlich.
All right, appreciate it.
I think the worst part would actually be that it's going to be Frank the Tank there, who is a Nets fan, but he now hates the Nets because they stink, and him laughing in your face is going to hurt.
Yeah, it's a shame I made this prediction of the Nets winning the series.
Yeah, it is a shame. Real shame.
Yeah, definitely
I thought you knew ball. I thought you watched ball, Jake.
Shouldn't have said it.
Yeah, I might said it all along.
I might have to protest.
Yeah.
I might have to protest.
It'd be one thing if I just got dragged into it and didn't make the prediction, but I said it.
Jake, can you look up and figure out what the owner of the Nets has done? Has he ever killed $5.3 million of anything?
Oh, Jake, you should get kicked out of the game. Then you won't have to do it.
Yeah, you should protest, Jake.
Yeah, if you ran on the court, you would. I'll say it right now. If Jake runs on the court, he doesn't have to do the
Agreed. Protest the vaccine.
Yeah.
Kyrie Irving should have played the full season.
Throw a needle at Kyrie.
No.
Imagine if you threw a Johnson & Johnson needle at him. Like a blow dart.
Like if you just snuck up behind him and gave him the vaccine.
I've had
handshake.
3 years of great memories here. One bad night.
Yeah, well, two bad nights because it was also when you said when we officially had the playoff seedings, you're like, I think the Nets are going to whomp them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, of course.
Two bad nights.
Yeah, pull the tapes. I said it. You got me. Yeah.
I can't wait for this. Oh my God.
You're not going to die.
I'll take half of it. I don't care. I'll take half of it for you.
No, for the fans.
For the fans. But the
because
fans
I said it.
Yeah, no, because you said it. Right.
Back it up.
Right. Yeah, you're right. You know what? You're right.
Put your money where your mouth is, Jake.
Yeah.
Of course.
All right, let's do Who's Back of the Week. Muggsy is our sponsor for Who's Back of the Week. Muggsies are the most comfortable men's jeans on the planet, built with the proprietary stretch denim. These jeans have the perfect fit, and they feel like you're wearing sweatpants. Don't sacrifice style for comfort. Free your balls from the old ways of constricting denim and slide into some buttery soft Muggsies. The same dudes that brought us the world's most comfortable jeans are also your one-stop shop for chinos, shorts, tees, and hoodies, or grab a Canadian tux from Muggsy and support me bringing the Stanley Cup to Canada this year. You know Todd and Gordo only wear the world's most comfortable Canadian tuxedos. Do your legs a favor. Head over onto Mugsy.com. Use code TAKE for 10% off the most comfortable jeans you've ever worn. That's Mugsy.com. Code TAKE for 10% off your entire order. Free your balls once and for all. Hank, who's back of the week?
I have a bunch.
Really?
Okay. Yeah.
Wow.
But I don't want to burn you guys, so I'll just do one, and then we can circle back if they don't get called.
All right.
How many? Give me the actual number.
3.
I want you to do the second one, not the first one.
Damn, that's fucked up.
Okay, do the first one.
No, it's fine. The second one was statues.
Shit, that burns me. Fuck.
I mean, I figured my first one wasn't. No one else was going to use my first one.
What happened with statues?
Baker Mayfield got a statue at Oklahoma.
It's so funny.
And it's not since I would say with the Ronaldo statue that came out have I seen a statue that is this bad.
Yeah.
His forehead. Someone called out he looks exactly like Ryan Whitney. No,
he does look like T-1000 from Terminator 2.
I think he looks like Quinn Snyder.
It looks a little like Quinn Snyder. Someone pointed out that his forehead, he's technically wearing a headband.
Yeah, that's what it is. So it gives the impression of having a 5 head like our friend Ryan Whitney does, respectfully. Mm-hmm. But in this case, it's just like the do-rag covering it up. But even if you take that into account, it looks absolutely nothing like him.
No.
And the picture that came out of him on stage next to the statue, he was giving it this look like, what am I supposed to say?
Like I haven't had a bad enough month?
Yeah, come on, man.
Jesus Christ.
Give me a shot here. It's a very funny statue. I love it.
Yeah. My who's back was going to be Baker Mayfield in the fact that some people actually had sympathy for him for the first time in a while. So that was good. Like, part of me thought if I was going to put on my Billy brain that he told Oklahoma, like, butcher this statue, because then people are going to be like, damn, Baker got done wrong.
Well, it doesn't really make sense because he's wearing his uniform with pads.
Right.
And he's running in a play with the football in his hand, stiff-arming somebody, but he's not wearing a helmet.
So I pointed that out, and then a bunch of Oklahoma fans were like, all of our Heisman statues don't have helmets. I'm like, okay, that doesn't make
that's right. The first thing I thought was like, this is not something that happened.
Right.
It should be him planting the flag. That's what the statue should have been.
It wasn't like a Jason Witten when he got his helmet ripped off and he ran like 30 yards.
Yep.
It wasn't that.
He should have been. It should be him planting the flag, and then that's the flag on. That's a big OU flag that flies on campus.
That would have been.
That would have been sick.
That would have been real sick.
You know, it would have been cooler if he was grabbing his junk and yelling at people as a statue.
Oh, that also would have been cool. That was against Kansas. Hey, can you text me your who's back and I'll just say it?
Sure.
Okay, go ahead, PFT.
Hank's only doing one.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna do his.
Okay, I have 2. Is that okay?
Yes.
All right, my first who's back is Afrin. I'm taking nose spray again. I'm back on the hard stuff.
Damn.
I'm on the sauce. I think it's the pollen. I don't know what it is. Haven't been able to fall asleep, so I'm back. I'm not addicted though. I'm just using it to get myself over the hump. I'll be able to quit cold turkey, no problem. Not worried about that. My other who's back of the week is DK Metcalf talking shit online. And this is something DK likes to do, is pop his head up every now and again and just try to bully me, even though I'm documented being faster than him and better than him at trivia. So he commented on the part of my Take Instagram account saying that the bench press was fake, that the weights were fake.
Oh, damn.
Last time. And obviously DK is all in his feelings right now because the Seahawks are trading everybody. He hasn't gotten traded yet, hasn't got his contract. I understand that, DK. That has nothing to do with you and me. But there's rumors out there, Big Cat, that we're thinking about Grit Week this year, where we could do some combination of maybe Rado and the Pacific Northwest.
Correct. Confirmed rumors.
And if that rumor...
Grit Week will be in August, by the way.
If that confirmed rumor is indeed true, if we get a second source on that, I would like to challenge DK to a decathlon of 10 events. I wrote down like 6 of them, and maybe we can fill some of them in later.
Is one of them finding Pete Carroll's twin?
Yeah, that's one of them.
Okay.
That's one of them.
I'm in.
It's a photo hunt.
Okay.
Finding Pete Carroll's twin in the stands.
I love it.
Bench press, max divided by body weight, 20-yard short shuttle, vertical leap divided by height, so it's balanced, it's fair. Dog fight, guns only, in a 15-seat Eagle in a flight simulator.
Okay.
A 5-yard dash. I was actually talking to Billy earlier about this. You think I could beat DK in a 5-yard dash?
No.
Not a chance.
You couldn't beat me in a 5-yard dash.
I think I could beat you in a 5-yard dash.
I don't think.
I got the choppy steps. I explode.
I can just take a step.
Yeah.
That's
yeah. 2 of your steps is one.
No,
you guys don't know how sprinting works.
This is
Trendon Holiday was like the fastest player in the NFL. He had short little legs.
I hope we get to do this. This is future PFT though, where we're gonna show up to Seahawks camp and they're gonna be like, you have 20 minutes with DK, and you're like, all right, I have a CVS receipt of things we need to videotape.
Okay, well, we don't have to do 10 events. Maybe it can be 3.
Yeah,
I'd still like to call it the Decathlon.
I like that.
It's mostly
the name. Yeah,
it's mostly built
you have
around
to do
the
the name. Yeah.
So all right. So here are the 3 events: 5-yard dash.
Okay.
Flight simulator.
I like your
chances
okay,
now.
Yeah.
Flight simulator, and then bench press max divide by body weight.
Okay.
I think I got him.
All right.
I think
Done.
Oh, and trying to have a foursome.
You got him on that
too. No, I think we'll both fail. I think we'll tie in that one.
He's come close.
He's 0 for 1.
He has come close.
He's 0 for 1 lifetime.
He's basically like when you're trying to hit for the cycle. He just needed a triple.
He needed a triple.
Yeah, he was very, very close.
I'm just not going to get on base. And he'll come back with 3 chicks.
Yes.
Sorry, buddy. That's not the event.
All right, my who's back is Angel Hernandez. Thank you, Hank. Angel Hernandez is back to his old tricks. Kyle Schwarber just lit him up in Sunday Night Baseball. It was awesome. Angel Hernandez has officially taken the crown as the ump that everyone in the world hates.
That one strike that was inside was awesome.
Yeah.
It was like a foot off the plate.
Yeah. Also, who's back? Scumbag Yankee fans. So I don't. It was, first of all, I think everyone gets one. I tweeted it, the Indians, and everyone's like, the who? Like, you get one. You get one. You get one. I mean, I called them the Indians. We're fucking 2 weeks into the baseball season.
The I words.
Yeah. So I had the game on, actually, because I had a bet on it, and I was the Indians players.
That was your second.
Oh, fuck. Well, anything flies on the podcast. The I word players jumped up and were yelling at the Yankee bleacher guys, and they were doing the pussy symbol at them, and then after the Yankees walked off, they started throwing all the shit at them. I don't think you can have any take besides the Yankee fans are probably in the wrong, but also I kind of like that Yankee fans are scumbags. It's similar to the Phillies. I want the Bronx to be like that.
They're less lovable scumbags,
right,
I think, than Philly is.
Well, because they can say 27 rings.
Philly, yeah, they ultimately have the high card that they can play. My favorite part of it was the guy that was making the pussy symbol.
Yeah.
Did you see that? So the pussy symbol, I've always been taught is it's upright.
The diamond.
Fingers pointing up.
Yeah, DDP.
This guy was working on it. He flipped it upside down and put his thumbs up.
Yeah.
I don't know what they think a vagina looks like in the Bronx.
It's
that's
different.
That's a Bronx pussy.
No, that's flashing the sign.
It's different out there.
That's the Bronx pussy. The hole's on top.
Yeah.
They don't know where the clit is.
Yeah, it was Yankee fans. I think Yankee and Philly fans are kind of similar, that if you give them an inch, they will take a mile. So you can't react to them. Like the Guardian players reacting to him, I know that they were cheering for an injury, but again, that's scumbag Yankee fans, and I say that in an endearing way because that's what I want Yankee fans to be. But when you react, they are going to... I think if those players had gone up to the stands, the Yankee fans would have just beaten the fuck out of them.
They would have swarmed them.
They would have swarmed them.
It would have been chaos
at
the Palace.
Yes.
Yeah.
I really, truly believe that. As crazy as it may sound.
Those guys have knives up there for sure.
Professional athletes. That is exactly what I want. That's what I want the Bronx to look like.
Yeah, so a lot of people were saying, hey, what's the common denominator? What has been going on at Yankee Stadium this season? Both Jake and Billy have been at Yankees games.
Uh-oh.
I feel like you guys should respond.
I was not at the Yankee game this weekend.
But you've been at a crowd.
And
you're a Yankee fan. You guys are both Yankee fans, so why don't you disavow your fan base?
No, I mean, honestly, those boys are sick.
Disavow those guys. Those guys.
What about Jeffrey
That was
Mayer?
the perfect difference between Billy and Jake.
What?
He's like, those guys look fucking awesome.
Do you also disavow Jeffrey Mayer?
He's a kid.
Yeah, he was a kid.
He's
like 55 now. Yeah. No, those guys looked actually kind of sweet. That, could you... It's one of those moments that if you're on Twitter, you have to have a take that's a little more nuanced, but all I was thinking in the back of my head, if I was in my 20s, drunk in the bleachers, and a player came up nose to nose with me, I'd be telling that story for the rest of my life.
He tried to climb the wall to come.
It's awesome.
Yeah,
that was awesome.
Don't
throw shit.
I don't like the throwing.
Don't throw shit.
I don't like.
That's not cool.
Listen, you're not the University of Tennessee.
Yes,
they're the only ones allowed to do that.
Do not throw shit. That's fucked up. And if someone gets hurt, that's extra fucked up. But the nose to nose, that was cool.
I do love the fact that anytime any fan base does anything bad, Tennessee fans will find it immediately and be like, see, they're doing it.
Yeah.
We're not the only ones.
It's Philly and Tennessee. I saw a lot of Philly people being like, you won't hear about this because it's not in Philly.
Yeah, Tennessee.
We heard about it.
Tennessee's trying to elbow their way into that conversation.
Yeah. All right, Billy, your who's back?
My who's back is Tyson Fury. Fury retained his heavyweight title by KOing Dylan White in the 6th round. It was actually an awesome card. Since it was in England, it was on at about like 2-ish in America. So it was good to see boxing during the day.
That was on. I'm trying to think what time LeBron James time that was on. LeBron James probably was asleep. He slept through that one.
Yeah.
It was a cool fight, though.
Yeah, so that uppercut he threw, just like luring him in and just hitting him with that was awesome. Tommy Fury was also on the card. Tommy Fury got his first fight and win from a guy who wasn't a bum or like from the bar next door. He was a 10-1 fighter, called out Jake Paul. Awesome boxing all around.
I've seen Tommy Fury box. He's a bum.
But he got a decent win this time.
Tommy Fury's a stud.
Dude, no, he's
a bum.
A sparring partner that was a foot smaller than him on that Jake Paul fight that I was at in Cleveland, and he struggled with him.
2 of us in this room have been in the ring, Big Cat.
No,
you're not.
I mean, I'm just saying, Tom. But
that's a good point.
Okay, fine. Well, yeah, okay, yes, you have. You've both been in the ring.
He is pretty raw, but he did get a win against a professional fighter who's 10-1. And then
fact or fiction.
So
who'd that guy fight?
Bokianski.
Yeah.
So
did you see the one I'm talking about in Cleveland?
Yeah,
he fought a sparring partner.
He did.
That was a foot taller, smaller than him.
It was a sloppy fight, but the real story is after the fight, he stood in the ring and basically, from reports, he said Tyson Fury would never return to the ring to box, but he might participate in a hybrid fight with Francis Ngannou
and wrestle WWE
and WrestleMania.
Yes.
So a lot of stuff going on. But from the first reports about the Francis Ngannou hybrid fight, it would be in a boxing ring, but using MMA gloves with some sort of striking and no wrestling. So that's something to look forward to.
This is my favorite stat for Tommy Fury's previous opponents. Their combined record, 12 wins and 174 losses.
but that's what I'm saying.
Thank God he fought that 10-1 guy.
This guy was 10-1. Yeah. So it's like, okay.
It's ridiculous. If you look at the people that he's fought, they're guys who are like 1-40 in boxing. That's not a boxer. That's just a guy that gets punched in the face.
Yeah, he's not the one making his own fights. He's just
he actually, yes, he 100% is making his own fights.
No, you can only fight the person on the other side of you. Billy knows that.
Yeah,
he's absolutely making his own fights.
Big
That's
John
how it
Fury.
works. Yeah.
But actually, on a sort of similar note, I saw this video recently. If you look up "Soccer Mom Fights Bellator Champion," turns out there was this promoter like 10 years ago who was just throwing his girlfriend in with like trained MMA fighters, and it's the weirdest thing ever. And this woman has 30 seconds of being in a ring with 3 professional fights. I gotta find her last name was Castro. It's a really weird story.
She win or she lost?
Something got to write a blog.
Blog
it. Yeah, she got knocked out 3 times. It's the weirdest thing ever.
Also, speaking of fighting, I can't wait till we get Patty the Batty back in studio. That guy is the people's champ because I don't think I've ever seen anyone gain weight faster than he does. He went from so cut to legitimately fat. He was at a Padres game.
So that's Scouse.
And you could even see it like in the way he was talking. He was like, he feels heavy.
We're at Petco Park today to watch the Padres. As you can see, just got a new jersey. Baddy on the back. Absolute rasper. Up the Padres.
And it's just... He's living the life.
Well, wasn't he saying that
he's like Ricky Hatton?
He's able to cut weight in like a week.
Yeah, he said it's every single time it's the same thing. Like once he goes to camp, it's crazy. But the minute the fight ends, I looked at his Instagram, and the minute the fight ended, he was at the press conference after the fight, eating a pizza and drinking a beer.
So who's his next opponent?
I don't know, but I love the fact that he just does that, where he's like, yeah, if I'm not actively in a camp, I'm. Most fighters they'll get out of shape, but he's getting fat.
Well, part of me thinks that
he's Ricky Hatton.
If you're Patty the Batty, you probably look nothing like an MMA fighter.
Right.
Like nobody would ever see Patty and be like, "Oh, this guy's going to kick my ass." I wish that I could follow him around and see all the fights that he gets into off the record.
Yeah, or people who just try him
because he probably just submits them in half a second and then walks away.
Yes,
it's all beer weight.
Yeah, I mean, he's not actually fat, but it's crazy to look at him, what he was 3 weeks ago versus he's probably gained 25 pounds. Jake.
Yeah, my who's back is the 3,000 hit club.
Oh, yeah.
Congratulations, Miguel Cabrero. 33rd member to join. I feel like it's pretty cool. It's a big deal.
It also, I was looking at it, there might not be anyone coming up soon who's going to get 3,000 hits. Like, this is going to be a wave that I don't know. I think the next one was, I can't even remember. I was looking at it earlier today. I think it was, I don't know. I'll look it up.
Cano has 2631. Altuve is not even at 2,000.
Yeah, Cano's got 2631. He's 39 years old. So 3,000 hit, kind of a rare club.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like we talked about no-hitters, last week and how the perfect game thing, and this is pretty close-ish, but
yeah.
It's cool.
I was thinking the other day, what do you think is going to happen to Pujols when it comes time for him in the Hall of Fame? Because I feel like he's a guy that the S word has been tossed around a lot.
No, he'll get in.
But that's all that it takes sometimes for these baseball writers to be like, if I think that you know how to spell the word steroids, you're not getting in.
Ortiz.
Yep.
So it's a lot of we're nice to the media too, and I think they should all be in. And obviously David Ortiz is a Hall of Famer, but I think he'll be in that same class because he also he basically was like, I came back so that I could retire with Yachty and we'll go in together. So and you think Tim Kirchin's going to be like, no, I'm not going to put Yachty and Pujols in together.
They love that shit.
They're going to go crazy for that. We're going to get another. Who was the guy who wrote the letter?
Oh shit! Who was that? Was that Heyman?
Tom Verducci.
Verducci, yeah. Verducci is already. He's got pre-cum thinking about Pujols and Yachty.
He's probably going to order a custom letter opener to unseal his ballot for that day.
He's probably going to let them lick the envelope to send it into Cooperstown.
Yep.
Like you guys do it. You deserve it.
They just love Cardinals players.
They love Cardinals players, and both those guys are just going to love them. All right, let's do some draft talk. Daniel Jeremiah. Good 45 minutes with him. We're going to get into the draft. We're going to give you some good tips for what you can tell your friends when you're watching the draft on Thursday night about some guys that you should be watching for. And we're doing that brought to you by our friends at Game Time. We're going to Nets Celtics on Monday night. Thanks to Game Time. Game Time NBA playoffs is officially underway, and the best place to get your tickets is with the Game Time app, the exclusive ticketing partner of Barstool Sports. Game Time makes it easier than ever to score last-minute deals on tickets, and they guarantee the lowest price. We're getting all of our tickets with Game Time app. Hank went to Celtics Nets Game 3. So did Bubba. And we're all going to Game 4 on Monday night. The purchase process just takes 2 taps and 10 seconds. And once you buy your tickets, they're delivered directly to your phone. No printer needed. The app also allows you to easily share tickets with friends via text. Download the Game Time app, go to the account tab to create a login, and redeem code PMT for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Download Game Time. Last-minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed. Thank you to the Game Time app because we might have a womp in the building with PFT and Jake putting dip in their mouths. So Game Time, thank you again, Game Time app. Go download it right now. Use code PMT for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Download that. Hank, you had great seats. Thank you to Game Time, right?
Unreal seats. Love Game Time. Great app.
We got great seats on Monday night. Game Time app is where it's at. All right, here he is, Daniel Jeremiah. Okay, we now welcome on a recurring guest, friend of the program. It is Daniel Jeremiah. It is draft week, so we're going to run this on Monday, DJ. You can find him on NFL Network. He's got the Move the Sticks podcast. He's on Amazon Thursday Night Football Scouts feed. He does Chargers radio. He's all over the place, and he's a draft expert, and we got him on. We wanted to do this, DJ, because there's a lot of people who I think get into the draft the week of. So high level, we don't need to get into prospect number 325, but let's start with this. There is definitely less buzz, it feels like, about this draft. Yeah. Is that because of the quarterbacks, or is it overall this draft is not up to snuff in terms of previous drafts?
I think mainly the quarterbacks. I think usually that's what kind of drives the attention. I remember the year that Manziel was coming out. Like, even though he wasn't going to be the first pick in the draft, like everybody knew who he was. Everybody was intrigued where he was going to go. Like that was kind of the storyline. That was kind of the anchor to the coverage. And this year we don't really have that. it's not only that they aren't like big time quarterbacks, but if they were kind of mediocre quarterbacks, but they were at Alabama or Ohio State or, Clemson, like the top quarterbacks in this draft class are from Pitt, from Liberty, Cincinnati, North Carolina. So it's not like the college isn't connected to them. The college fan base isn't really connected to them. And then the NFL fan base is kind of figuring out who these guys are.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay. So let's start with the quarterbacks, then we'll work into other pieces. You have Kenny Pickett being your first off the board and Malik Willis second off the board. Give me where the highest you could see a quarterback going, and what's the difference between Kenny Pickett and Malik Willis in your mind?
Yeah, I think that when you look at Carolina, I mean, much documented about them being in the quarterback space. They've been at every single one of these workouts. So that would be the high mark. I know some people have mentioned potentially Detroit at 2. There's just no way. I just can't see them doing that. So I would start it at Carolina at 6. As we get closer to the draft, I don't think they're going to do that. But that's the highest place it could go. And I think there's a chance like we could see Pittsburgh have all the quarterbacks on the board when they pick at 20, and they can kind of pick whoever they want there, which for a while had been Willis. And then lately you kind of hear maybe it's actually Pickett. Just keep him right there. They know him really well. The difference between the guys, like Willis there's more there. Like you can envision him, really turn it into a star. It's just going to require some patience, and there's a little bit more risk involved. Where Pickett I feel like he's got a high floor. He's kind of like, if you're looking at what he can be, I think of a guy like Alex Smith, the career that he had. I could see Pickett having that type of a career. Tannehill, Alex Smith, like that's kind of the type of quarterback I think he could be, which is not as exciting as we have the mop just rolling right by there, if you enjoyed that sound. But not as exciting, but to me, I feel like I know what I'm getting.
Right.
More so with Pickett.
Are you making that comparison to Alex Smith because of the hand size? Because that was a knock on Alex Smith.
Yeah. No, I didn't even factor that part of it in. I don't really care about the hand size. I mean, it's not like this guy. It's one thing if this guy was like playing in the Bahamas. This guy's been playing in Pittsburgh. Like he's been in bad weather. He knows what that's like, and he's been fine.
Yeah, I actually think that it's more important to measure the size of the finger than it is, and the thumb, than it is the size of the hand entirely. Because sometimes a guy might have big palms, and that might not be as important as having long fingers. It's like wasted hand space.
Yeah, I have not given much thought to the big palm theory, but that's
the difference between me and you. Is like
that's going to the next level.
Yeah,
that's what I love about
I get
guys.
granular. Like when you measure somebody's height, a quarterback's height, you should actually only measure to the eyeballs, because everything above the eyeballs is wasted real estate.
Yeah, Peyton Manning isn't that tall.
Yeah, who cares if you've got a big forehead? It's what
Peyton's
you can
really
see.
6'1".
Yeah, he's the shortest quarterback out there. Wait, so
I like that. I like that thinking.
Yeah, so Kenny Pickett, he's a friend of ours. We're rooting for him. There's been a lot of talk about, he was in college for a long time. How much do you factor in age when you're talking about, like, if you're sitting, because you were obviously in a war room and you were with an NFL team, is there like a cutoff point? Is a 20-year-old like, oh my God, he could grow into this monster because he's so young, and then like 23-year-old, he's too old, like we don't want this? Is there an actual cutoff point? How do you guys deduct that?
Well, it's interesting. I think it's different by position, and I use that as like a tiebreaker. So if you've got players that are similarly graded, and one of them's 20 and one of them's 24, like obviously you're going to take the 20-year-old because he's already as good as this guy or close. So that can be the tiebreaker. But if you've got a 24-year-old or 23, 24-year-old that's just if you give him a much higher grade, you're not going to punish him that bad. I say that, though, there is that point. I was in Philadelphia when we drafted Danny Watkins, who was like 26 years old and was fighting fires 2 years into his NFL career. Literally, he was out of the league. And that one is one that kind of made me think, okay, why are they this old? First of all,
right.
With Pickett, it's easy. We had the COVID. It was the whole thing was weird. That whole period of time was weird. So no, to me, I don't think it's as big a deal with him.
Okay. Yeah. I find that a lot of the things that the media, we make a big deal of hand size, age, like all these things. And it feels like for the most part in the war room, it's just tiebreakers. It's usually just tiebreakers, right?
That's it. And everybody has the same goal. I mean, you're trying to win a championship, but the other thing you're trying to do is just get the next contract. And so when you look at these players and you say, okay, he might only be a one contract player. Like say he's got a little bit of a degenerative knee. And dude, 4 or 5 years is an eternity. Like if I can get 4 or 5 years of really good play out of a guy, that's a heck of a pick. So I think sometimes that stuff gets a little bit, bigger on the outside than maybe it is on the inside.
So you said that you wouldn't be shocked if there were no quarterbacks taken before the Steelers picked at 20. I think that I understand why you're saying that, because you're comparing these prospects to prospects in old drafts. But I think in reality, there's just no chance. Like somebody's going to take a quarterback a little bit too high, maybe in your estimation, and then we're going to see that wave of panic where all the other teams that might be looking at a quarterback think to themselves, "Oh no, by the time we draft, we won't have any quarterbacks to choose from whatsoever." So they'll move up again. I would say that there would be a quarterback taken in the top 10. Again, like this is your area of expertise, but like in practice, couldn't you see like some teams moving up? And if so, like which teams do you think are most likely to move up to draft a quarterback?
Well, there's 3 in the top 10 that need a quarterback. You can make a strong case. Carolina, Atlanta at 8, Seattle at 9. All 3 of those teams could be in the quarterback market. Then you have a little bit of a gap, so you kind of get down to, I don't think New Orleans has taken one. I know they acquired the extra first-round pick, but everything I've kind of heard, you go out and you sign Andy Dalton, you've already got Jameis. Like, you're going to end up probably having to release one of those guys if you draft a quarterback. You're probably not going to carry 3. So that doesn't make as much sense for them. So then Pittsburgh's the next team. So then Pittsburgh will just have to kind of be worried about, those teams that have already made a pick coming back in, and I think that's where I think we're more likely to see the quarterback thing happen right before pick 20 than up there in the top 10. I just keep going back to that thought. I do the Charger game, so I see Herbert every week. You see Burrow, you see Josh Allen, you see Mahomes. Like, these guys are cyborgs. Like, you're going to take one of these guys, and a year later, you're going to be going like, dude, this guy's he's not good enough to compete with those upper tier guys. You might be right back in the quarterback market next year. So that's why I think when it's all said and done, we see maybe a couple of them go, but I think Pittsburgh at 20 is kind of, that's with the spot. And so if you're Detroit at 32 and 34, maybe if you love a guy, you get right in front of Pittsburgh, come back in. But I don't think we're going to see one go all the way up there.
So you're telling me that the Washington Commanders, a lot of people are saying Carson Wentz is the future quarterback. He got a couple of MVP votes back in 2017. He's a great player. Other parts of the fan base are saying, "Oh my God, I want to jump off a cliff because we acquired Carson Wentz." You're saying that, in your opinion, there's no chance that the Commanders go quarterback.
I'm not saying there's no chance, but I think, and listen to everything that's come out of there, Ron Rivera is not thinking 3 years down the line. You don't make that trade for Carson Wentz, eat all the money like they did, if they didn't, really believe that he could be a good player for them. They think the division's winnable, it's attainable. They've got a really good defense, and maybe they're one player away at another position. They can come in and jump right into the playoffs. It was like the Saints. When the Saints made that trade, I thought, oh, they're going to try and get a quarterback, or maybe they have ammunition to try and move up for a quarterback. And then I talked to people around there, and they said, look, they beat the Bucs 4 straight times in the regular season with Tom Brady there. They lost to him in the playoffs. But they feel like that division, that they can win that division right now. And so they want to get like a tackle and a receiver, and they feel like that could be kind of all they need to make a playoff run. So the way these teams are kind of positioned right now, I think a lot of them, whether they're right or wrong, they feel like they're really close.
Yeah. No, that's a good point. There are a bunch of teams that feel like they're on the brink. I have a process question real quick. So your mock draft, how much of it is just your rankings, and how much of it is what you're hearing on the street? Because, for instance, Aiden Hutchinson, you have Aiden Hutchinson going 1. A lot of mock drafts right now have Trayvon Walker going 1. You have Trayvon Walker as your 6th graded prospect overall. So, like, where's that disconnect? Can you explain that to us?
Yeah, sure. To me, I always do like my rankings, my top 50 list, my top 150 list. I turn in right before the draft. That's all with my eyes. That's all my evaluation, what I think of the players. The mock draft, I always do that with my ears. It's just based off what I'm hearing. It's not, married to my evaluation of a player by any stretch, but it's a combination kind of what I'm hearing, and then, try and use some common sense, to kind of mix in with that. And I just looked at the Jags, and we'll see. I mean, unless I just get overwhelming response from buddies in the league that think that it's going to be Walker, I just keep going back to the fact, like, you just got off the Urban Meyer roller coaster. Like, let's just take Aiden Hutchinson, just put it right in the middle of the fairway here. It's not time to be aggressive and take a risk. Trayvon Walker, he's got a ton of ability. There's a huge upside there, but he's not polished. He doesn't have a lot of production. You're just kind of betting on and hoping on the future. Whereas Aiden Hutchinson, I know exactly what I'm getting with him. He's a really good player. I think he's the best player in the draft personally. I think it's a little more of a conservative choice. But after all they've been through in Jacksonville, I don't know if they can afford to take a wild swing.
Yeah. And so the other story on the defensive side of the ball is how many Georgia players are going to be taken in the first round? Is it going to come close to some of these old Alabama records where it was just like every other player it seemed like was a linebacker from Alabama?
It's going to be a boatload. So Walker's going to go. Jordan Davis is going to go. Wyatt, the defensive tackle, is going to go. I think Quay Walker, the linebacker, is going to go. That's 4. Then we haven't even talked about the guy who was the best defensive player on our team last year, Nakobe Dean. I think he's actually probably one that could slide out. He would be 5. Lewis Seen, the safety, is going to go. So I would say 5.5. It would be kind of where I would put it. 5, maybe even 6 of those guys go in the first round.
That's crazy.
Okay, that's nuts. Now here's another hypothetical. If we had draft eligibility for next year, like if the guys who are going to be draft eligible next year were in this draft, would Alabama have number 1 and number 2 pick?
They would have, depending on whether or not you need a quarterback. And I'm saying this, guys, it's not like I've studied all the guys for next year, but I can tell you after having done this for 20 years that the defensive end from Alabama is an absolute freak show, and he's way better than anybody in this draft class. Not even close. He just jumps off the screen. So he's a slam dunk. If a team doesn't need a quarterback, he's a first overall pick in numerous drafts over the last decade. The quarterbacks, I haven't done as much work on Bryce Young yet. Everybody that my buddies that have been through there said 2 things. Like, he throws a beautiful ball and he is tiny. So, it's just trying to sort that out. And then you've got the quarterback from Ohio State, Stroud, who's really, really talented. So those guys, I think that's a little more, again, these are big name programs, premier positions, premier players. That's why, this draft is going to be fun because we don't know what's going to happen. And I think next year we get some real star power.
Yeah, it's just crazy to think that like Alabama, Will Anderson and Bryce Hall, like they're going to be, or no, Bryce Young. Which one?
Bryce Hall's a TikTok guy.
Bryce Hall's a TikTok. I do that all the time. Bryce Young. It's just crazy that they're going to have maybe number 1, number 2, and they're both coming back. All right, so Aiden Hutchinson possibly 1. You have Kayvon Thibodeau from Oregon going 4. Now for him, the red flag. I say red flag like it's not a real big deal, but people say there might not be the love of football that other guys have. I think we're now moving to a place where people are like, hey, that's okay that he doesn't love football, but I might be a little bit old school in this is I want my guy to love football because that does actually matter a lot in the NFL. So how do you decipher something like that where you hear, oh, he might not love football? How does the war room break that down and figure out exactly what that means?
It's difficult. I think absolutely it matters. You want somebody to be passionate about it. I was talking to a GM this morning about their quarterback, and you can monitor like the amount of video that these guys watch. It's one of the things now scouts do when you go into a college is you're going to talk to the video coordinator. Coach is going to tell you this guy's passionate. He loves football, because they want him to go high so they can sell the recruits that they just had a first round pick. Well, a lot of times the video guy doesn't know that he's not supposed to tell you the truth. So you go to the video guy, and I'm like, how much you can log the video right on their devices? And he's like, yeah, this guy watches maybe 30 minutes a week or what have you. But this GM was telling me their quarterback's like over 40 hours a week that he's watching video. So there's a reason why some of these guys are better than others. It's just simple. They're putting in the work. So yeah, it matters. You need to love it. But my thing with Thibodeau is he's my 10th player. So I like him. I just don't have him all the way up there. He's my 10th overall player. The thing with me is like I watched the conference championship game against Utah, and I've cut up the plays. I don't post it. I don't like doing that stuff, but just for my evaluation, there's like seven loaf plays where his teammates are running past him to go chase and try and make plays. And that bothered me a little bit just because I kind of grew up in the Ravens system and being trained there. And there's just a different type of desire and passion with those elite defensive players.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's put well. And I do. Yeah. I think you want guys who love football because it does. That to me is one of those less hand size, less, like, oh, he, liked to party or something, or people didn't go to his birthday party, but like loving football feels like a very important thing when you're making an investment in someone.
Can I give you the dumbest question that some scouts will ask in these interviews? By the way,
Yes, please.
The on a scale of 1 to 10 questions always make me laugh. Like, on a scale of 1 to 10, how much would you say you enjoy practice?
Right,
like,
5.
Yeah. And the amazing thing is, like, some guys will be like 8. You know, like, no, just say 10 across the board.
Always.
10 is the answer.
Say 11.
Always the answer.
Yeah. Say 11
better.
every time.
No
matter what.
What they're looking for is like commitment one way or the other. You can say like 1, I hate practice because I injure too many of my teammates, so I want to play in the game. Or you can say 10 and be like, I absolutely love practice. Anyone that says a 5, that's the actual test for me.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a fair point. But I always enjoy kind of asking the question of you finish your rookie year, what does a successful year look like? And you kind of learn about guys too from that standpoint, because a lot of guys will tell you kind of the individual stuff. Some of them will tell you, look, I want to contribute to a playoff team, I want to win a Super Bowl. You kind of get a little bit of a glimpse into kind of their mindset a little bit on that one.
Yeah, I mean, the best coaching for any player going into these interviews would be just like, hey, no matter what you actually think, just lie throughout the process and just say that, like, yes, I'm the prototypical like football robot. I will do whatever my coach asks me. I just want the team to win. And of course, it's human nature that you want to get some individual accolades occasionally. Like Rookie of the Year would be great to have. It'd be great to say that, and you could say like, I contributed, helped my team win. But in reality, just lie. Just be like, yeah, we win the Super Bowl. That's what I want.
Yeah.
Some of them are fun too. It doesn't always have to be like team oriented, but I know a team asked Darius Leonard when he came into their combine room, like, what's a successful rookie season look like to you? And he like didn't even hesitate. He's like, first of all, I'm going to take somebody's job. Then he said, number 2, I'm going to keep the job. He had to distinguish between taking it and then keeping it. And then number 3, I'm going to go to the Pro Bowl. And I think he was like 3 for 3.
Yeah, I mean, that's great. And I mean, all these interviews are always very funny. And I do think it's just very funny, the discourse that comes out of the draft. And people like to push back on the like, oh, he doesn't love football. But I really do think, like, we've been around people. We've talked to a lot of NFL players. There are guys who love football and they would do anything to keep playing football. And there are guys who might have other interests. And if you're making an investment, I think there's one way that you'd rather go. Not saying that being a well-rounded person isn't good, but you're not judging well-rounded people. You're judging people who want to play football at all costs.
There was a line I heard somebody say once upon a time was like, you got to give up to go up. And I think that's like in any way of life, right? You're going to have to make sacrifices to be great in any area of your life. And so if you're well-rounded sounds great in theory, but the best people in every profession are not well-rounded. Right. They're obsessive about what they do in this particular area. You know, I was around Ray Lewis, Ed Reed, Joe Thomas, Jason Peters, like all these guys, the great players, it's a miracle. They all work harder than everybody else. They're really talented, but they also just flat out outwork everybody.
Right, right.
We're going to get back to Daniel Jeremiah in a second, but before we do, this interview is brought to you by TaylorMade. Are you ready for the ultimate giveaway? We're teaming up with our friends from TaylorMade for the ultimate season opener sweepstakes and giving away 50 prizes to 50 different winners. It's a lot of prizes. That means that some AWLs are going to go home with some sweet TaylorMade gear. Prizes include everything from a grand prize, which is a full bag of new TaylorMade clubs, to a new Stealth driver, to TP5X golf balls, and everything in between. All you have to do, now through May 10th, go to TaylorMadeGolf.com/BarstoolSweeps to enter, and you celebrate the season's first major and the unofficial start to the golf season. The sweeps is running across a number of podcasts within the Barstool Network. We want AWLs to win. I'm calling on you guys. I want you guys to go home with TaylorMade gear. I want one of you to get the full bag of brand new TaylorMade clubs. Go over to TaylorMadeGolf.com/BarstoolSweeps right now for your chance to win. Be sure to let them know that you heard about it from us at Part of My Take. Make this golf season better. Fill your bag with the best. Of course, that's TaylorMade. I'm going to be out on the course this summer. I'm getting back into golf. I was never really into golf in the first place. I'm going to get back into it, though. Go to TaylorMadeGolf.com/BarstoolSweeps right now for your chance to win big. Now, here's more Daniel Jeremiah.
All right, so let's talk about wide receivers. Wide receivers, deepest position in the draft, easily?
I think wide receivers and edge rushers are both really, really deep this year. Wide receivers are going to be deep every year. Every year, this is what the college game's given us.
Yeah. So give us maybe your top 3 wide receivers that you see for draft day.
Yeah, I love Garrett Wilson from Ohio State. I just think he does everything. To me, he's one of those guys. You can play him outside, you can play him inside. He's got real speed. He ran the 4.3s, and he plays that way. But he's strong. Like, one of the things, if you go and look at the wideouts over the last 4 or 5 years that have had consistency and big time success, like, the underrated trait that they have is play strength. You know, like Cooper Kupp's like 216 pounds, plays really strong. AJ Brown strong, DK Metcalf strong. Obviously Debo, Devontae Adams, really, really strong player. Tyreek, even though he's short, is really strong. And Garrett Wilson has that. So to me, he's my top guy. Drake London from USC gives you something different. Just as a big dude who can actually get in and out of routes for a big guy. And he's ultra, ultra competitive. So he'd be 2 for me. And then 3, I think you can kind of look in a couple different areas. That to me is a little more up in the air of who you want that to be. I like Olave a lot from Ohio State, just silky smooth. So he would probably be number 3 for me. But Jamison Williams can fly. There's some other good ones.
All right, gun to your head. Debo Samuel and Baker Mayfield. By the end of the draft, if we're talking like Sunday night, will they have been traded?
Whew. Well, I mean, there's not even enough leeway here. By the time this gets posted, I could look really stupid on this. This is dangerous. This is a dangerous answer.
Gun to your head, though.
But you could also look like a genius.
Yeah, but I don't think like that. I'm definitely thinking on the other side of this thing. I'm going to say that. Actually, I'm going to say Baker does. I could see Baker in Carolina for a pick next year, though.
Okay.
That wouldn't surprise me. And then Debo. How do you trade? Like, this team's ready to win right now. Like, he's your most dynamic offensive player. I think I would try and wait that one out a little bit if I was the Niners and see if we can't try and smooth that over.
Yeah. I think that NFL players have seen the power that NBA players have to just say, hey, I want to play somewhere else, even though their contract might say something completely different. They realize that there's like a little bit of power to being like, I'm unhappy, I don't want to play, and then just essentially putting the onus on the team, like, it's up to you now. Either move me or get something back, but I'm prepared to sit out for the next year. And you know, some teams might call that bluff.
Yeah, but what do you think about this? Like, we've seen Adams get out, right? And we've seen Tyreek Hill get out. It's a lot easier to let guys like that walk out the building when you have Aaron Rodgers and Patrick Mahomes. It gives you a little bit of a peace and calm that everything's going to be okay. I don't know if I'm going to get ready to hand the keys of the car to Trey Lance for his first time as an NFL starter. And I'm going to go, oh, yeah, by the way, your best player, he's gone.
Right.
I don't know if I want to start his career like that.
I think Debo it's a money thing because I know obviously they use him differently than every other wide receiver. And I know that there was the report that, like, he doesn't like being used as much as he is. But that would literally be the first wide receiver of all time that would want the ball less. And maybe you could say, like, oh, he doesn't want to run as much. That's fine. But every wide receiver wants the ball on every play, and so I think it's probably a money thing that could solve that.
Doesn't have to be a money thing because if you said, what's the reason why you don't want to do all those things? You'd be like, well, because it could cost me money.
Right.
I'm going to get hurt, and it's going to – well, what if we just give you the money now?
Right.
Now we take that off the table.
Yeah.
What's the problem?
Right. Now you get the ball every play and everything, and you get paid a lot. So, yeah, I agree with you there. All right, so give us 2 names – that will make our listeners sound smart on draft night when they're sitting with their buddies at the bar or at a house watching the draft, and they're like, you know, we arm them with a little tidbit on a couple of guys that aren't going to be maybe the top end guys everyone knows about.
Okay, let's go.
First round guys. First round guys.
Logan Hall is a defensive lineman from Houston, he's really tall and long, and I think a lot of people think he's going to go in the second round, but he can really rush inside. And in this draft where there's a lot of talent, there's a lot of defensive line talent, there's not a lot of good interior pass rushers. So if you want an interior pass rusher, you're going to have him really high on your board. He's been on 1 million visits. All these teams keep bringing him in. And usually when you get a guy like that who's kind of unique in what he can do, and then there's a lot of heat on him, he's getting a lot of visits, those guys sneak into the back of the first round. So he's from Houston. So keep an eye on him. The other one I would say, Sky Moore from Western Michigan. Like, the MAC has done an unbelievable job of producing NFL wideouts. They do. It's incredible. And this is kind of the next one. He's a little short. He's under 5'10", but he's ultra quick, ultra explosive. He's got 2 Ys. I don't know why he has the extra Y on his name, but that's kind of cool.
Yes.
So he's a stud, and I think he could be one that in the year where all these wideouts have got so much money in free agency, I think teams are saying, hold up, like I'm going to have to pay a premier wideout like $22 million a year. I can draft one in the first round. I control him for 5 years. And at the back of the first round, that's like you're talking about, $2 million, $3 million a year, like nothing.
Those are great answers, by the way, because at the end of the day, we're just trying to arm our audience with they can just repeat what you say and sound smart. Like when Sky Moore gets picked with a 30th pick, they can be like, "Oh yeah, Western Michigan, Mac is just producing great wide receivers right now."
Sky Moore is also just a great name to root for in a wide receiver.
Oh.
It doesn't get better than that, actually. Sky Moore, that guy will take the top off of defense. Yeah. He'll high point the ball.
Yes, Sky Moore. Does he have wiggle?
He does have wiggle.
Okay,
and
good.
I'm thinking, like, just from a marketing standpoint, if the Cardinals, who lost Christian Kirk, if they drafted Sky Moore, and the airport, I think, is the Sky Harbor International Airport, it's the easiest endorsement deal of all time.
Sky Moore also sounds like a porn name, but I know you don't do that, TJ. So that's neither here nor there.
I had a question about the evaluation process, because you've been, at the combine, you've seen a lot of these guys work out and put up big numbers on bench press. When you're watching the spotter as the guys are benching and they're getting close to the end of their reps and the bar starts to go down, what's the etiquette of when the spotter can reach in and help them lift that up?
Well, I'm glad you mentioned that, because there was a video, and I don't know if it was from the combine or if it was somebody's workout, but there was gratuitous holding and touching by the spotter. Like, it was way early, it was way unnecessary, and it really bothered me.
What if the prospect was going to tear their labrum and then put into like their entire future earnings?
Once we start to see him slow down, we can go underneath without touching. Once he's really starting to kind of, and then obviously once you start to give a little bit, then we're touching. But we're not touching the bar until we start to see him go down.
Until it goes down, yes, exactly. So that's what happened. I may have seen the same video you did. The bar started to go down, and the weights actually started to fall off to the side and hurt one of the journalists
I didn't
that was
see
nearby.
That one. Oh, I did not see that one. Yeah, that's irresponsible. That would be irresponsible.
You should watch more film then, because that second video,
nice balance in there.
It clearly demonstrates that.
Yes.
I've been by the way, we've all been in the weight room and seen like the double, like where you've got to. It takes them a minute to figure it out, but you've got to go hard left and then go hard right for the dumping of the weights. It's not a pretty sight.
No, it's not.
No, it's definitely not. All right, give us another team that you think is going to be most active on draft night.
Well, I think the Jets just have so many picks, 4 and 10, and then 35 and 38. So they have, to me, 4 and 10, just put that aside. I feel like we've talked about that enough, but like 35 and 38, they're top of the second round picks, which you can do 2 things. You can use one of those, come back up. Some people think, if Linderbaum from Iowa, the center, were to drop, maybe they can come back up and get him for their third first rounder. Or there's a lot of teams that have a player high on their board that's still there in the early part of the second round, and you can get a next year's one for one of those early second round picks. So they've got like total flexibility. If they like somebody, they can go get them. If they aren't in love with any of those guys, they could pick up another first rounder for next year too.
So you're talking about like exchanging a second round pick for next year's first rounder. I'm assuming that like on the Jimmy Johnson draft value chart, that's kind of what those are worth at the point. Has any GM come up with their own chart, or are we all still using the same points grade from 1991?
Well, I thought of that, and I know other people have thought it's outdated, it's antiquated. When you look at the trades for those 2 wideouts, like, and add the different picks, obviously, but for the Tyreek Hill and the Devontae Adams trade, they both were within 1 point of each other on the trade chart. So it was the equivalent of the 13th overall pick. It was almost identical. So I'm like, clearly the league is still using the trade chart, even to value players, when you're trading a veteran of what their value could be.
Because you would think that like some industrious GM would come up with their own trade chart. But then once they start putting that into practice, if every other GM is using the old trade chart, then they're going to be like, wait, something's amiss here.
Well, you'd want to do your own trade chart that would benefit the seller, and then go off the other trade chart that would benefit the buyer, and then just kind of pick and choose based on whether you're buying or selling which trade chart you'd like to go off of.
There needs to be like a crypto for the trade chart. Somebody needs to come in and disrupt the game. That's what I'm hearing from you.
change it all. Just change it all up. Well, what happens is with a quarterback, when you have a quarterback, usually you throw the trade chart out the window because you just overpay.
Yeah. So this obviously could change because front offices change and philosophies change. But is there any team that for some reason they just always get a certain position group right year over year, and it's like whatever they do or whatever you hear from them, you just trust them? Like you could hear something from all the other teams, and then you hear this one team likes this guy, and you're like, you know what? He's probably going to be right.
Steelers wide receivers. Like
the
Steelers have just crushed it at wideout, and they don't take them in the first round. They get home runs. They usually let them walk. They play really well. They let them walk, and they replace them with a mid-round pick that ends up being just as good, if not better. Like they absolutely crush it there. So that would be kind of the one I would think of. The Ravens have done a pretty good job on the defensive line. Just they find they're looking for other things. So when everybody else has kind of gone sleeker and more upfield pass rush league, the big guy just falls into the Ravens' lap, and then they just trot out the biggest defensive front every year. That's why I'm like Jordan Davis from Georgia. Of course, he's going to get to 14, and the Ravens are going to get off the bus with Calais Campbell and Jordan Davis. It's going to be the freakiest thing you've ever seen.
And then whoever happens to fall to the Patriots, everyone's going to be like, classic Belichick. I can't believe the league let Belichick get this guy.
Well, usually they do a better job like in the second round, I think, or second or third round than they have even in the first round. They've had some misses in there. The one that I used to hate as a scout was when Peyton was with the Colts. You hated to see them take offensive linemen because he was so good at like covering it all up and getting the ball out of his hands. So you'd be sitting there and you'd have the Colts would take a lineman who sucked in like the fourth round. And I'm like, I've got a free agent grade on him, but I'm like, this guy's going to start for 10 years. And my bosses are going to be like, how did you miss on this guy? You gave him a free agent grade. He's been starting. I'm like, he stinks. It doesn't matter because Peyton just covers all that stuff up.
Right.
So as far as the Eagles go, you mentioned the Steelers and they've been able to get the wide receiver position down. Is this the year that the Eagles finally hit on a wide receiver? Because it is the deepest position in the draft. You said the Eagles have some good picks lined up. Are they going to get a good wide receiver?
I wouldn't be shocked if they took one for the third year in a row. Obviously Jalen Reagor did not work out 2 years ago. Devontae Smith, I thought, played pretty good last year. I think he's going to be a really good player.
Yeah, good point.
And then this year, they're where they are. If Jamison Williams was there, that'd be an interesting combination. And then you also have Chris Olave. Like, those would be kind of interesting guys. Drake London's long gone. He'd be the one I would want for them because he gives them something different, like a bigger guy. But he's going to be long gone. But I think either one of those two players would be interesting for them. I know they need a linebacker. They haven't taken one in 100 years, so I don't know if that's going to change.
All right, so my last question, this has been great. Thank you, as always, for joining us. It's a Roback question. Use promo code TAKE. You get 20% off your first purchase, RHOBACK.com. Use code TAKE for 20% off your first purchase. We haven't given any love to the big boys. So you're in terms of offensive linemen, what are we looking at in terms of depth at that position in this draft? And then who are the no-doubters that you see, like, these guys are going to be in the league for a very long time?
Yeah, I don't think that it's the top end is what it was last year. Like, I loved Slater. He was my favorite lineman in the draft last year, and he just plugged right in and played at like a Pro Bowl level for the Chargers. So I don't see somebody at that level, but Ike Ekwonu from NC State's my favorite. I think, he's played guard, he's played tackle. At worst case scenario, he's just going to be a dominant guard. But I think he can hold up and play tackle. He'd be my top guy. Evan Neal would be 2 from Alabama. He's just enormous. He's a good player. So those would be my top 2 guys. I think there's a little bit of a drop-off after that. And then I think you get a couple more guys that you'll see in the first round. I think Cross could go higher than I have him graded, but he'll be a first-rounder from Mississippi State. And then you've got Trevor Penning from Northern Iowa. So I think those 4 guys will go in the first round. And then after that, there's names, there's intriguing guys, but I don't feel like, slam dunk starters. I don't think there are a lot of those at tackle. It's a good group of interior linemen, and you'll see those guys in day 2. Like day 2, like guards, centers, there's a bunch of guys that can come in and start. So that depth I actually like a little bit more on day 2.
Yeah, okay. I like Linderbaum. I think that the knock on him recently has been that he's got short arms. And that's, you'd ideally like your center to have long arms, but I feel like he's strong enough and he's quick enough and athletic enough that he seems like one of those guys that you could draft and be like, okay, we have our center position set for the next 5 years.
Yeah, I like him. To me, it's interesting when you talk to GMs about him, because if you already have a center, they're not going to be interested in him because he's really kind of a center only. So I think he can survive in there with his arm length. He'll be fine. But he's at center, it's one thing. At guard, it just gets harder the further out you get. So he's probably a center only. So if you already have a center, you're not going to take him. And then he's more of a zone scheme guy. So just athletically, just really moving laterally versus, a gap scheme where you're trying to drive guys off the ball. Like, that's not going to be him. He's a little undersized. So if you're a gap scheme, then you wouldn't like him. So I think he's going to go to the right place, and he's going to probably want to go to a bunch of Pro Bowls, but there's a lot of teams that he's not going to fit. So that's why, figuring out where the heck he's going to go in this draft is hard.
That makes sense. I forgot. Can you actually, before we let you go, give us 3 through 5 in quarterbacks, just so people have something else in their back pocket that they can whip out when we get to round 2 and 3?
Yeah, so 3 through 5, Matt Corral from Ole Miss.
Yep.
He is really, like, if you want to use a scouting word with him, just say like he's really twitchy. You'll sound like a scout nerd. Just say really twitchy. He's got the quickest delivery in the draft. So he will be number 3. You've got Desmond Ritter's got a lot of heat, a lot of buzz late. He's been on a bunch of visits. He's won a lot of games at Cincinnati, like off the field stuff, meetings, like intelligence, work ethic, toughness, off the charts. He just hasn't been super accurate, so that's why he's kind of in that range.
Important. Yeah, that's important.
His job is to throw the ball, right?
Yeah.
Kind of a big deal. But then, and then Sam Howell. Sam Howell is the guy. If you're going to say who's going to go in the second round and have a chance to be the starter, Sam Howell would be my choice there. I think he could go early in the second round. I wouldn't sleep on like the Colts, even though they have Matt Ryan right now. They could take their time with Sam Howell. And they don't have a 1, but they have a second round pick. That wouldn't shock me at all.
Okay, that's interesting.
Any other scout terms that we should know? I like twitchy.
Twitchy's good. This is a phrase that I liked the other day on Ekwonu, the tackle from NC State, was he's got the hands of a heavyweight and the feet of a lightweight, which was good imagery. Anytime you can have scouting terms that give you imagery, that's gold.
Yeah,
that's gold right there.
Just like giant hands, tiny little dancing feet.
Yeah. So here's one for you. You might even have to demonstrate this, but some guys that can't really bend and sink. I had an old scout that I worked with that used to he would call these guys wood haulers, which probably aged him a little bit.
Uh-huh.
But if you think about how you would carry wood when you walk into the house, how you're kind of like back like this instead of like dropping down, it's a very visual reference. But a lot of the scouting references have been outdated. I think phone booth quickness, a little bit lost on the younger audience.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, typewriter feet, he's got those typewriter feet. Like nobody knows what a typewriter is. So
yeah. We got to update those. Like somebody with short arms, like you got TikTok hands. Look like you got your phone in front of your face all the time.
There's a whole new lexicon that needs to come into play here for scouting. That could be an off-season project. I wouldn't mind partnering with you guys on that and seeing if we can come up with some new school scouting terms, because it is a little outdated.
Yeah, that and the draft value chart. I'm thinking of ways to disrupt the entire situation here, and I think if you can just like say that you've got something that'll change the game, flip the paradigm, you just need somebody that's like really good at giving a TEDx talk to present to the GMs and then convince them to change things.
Yeah.
I think we partner with one of these other leagues like the XFL or the USFL and give them our new trade chart and just say, guys, sorry, this is what you guys are working on.
Yeah,
try it. Yeah,
it's going to be a little lab.
Yes, I love it. Well, thank you, Daniel. We appreciate it. Good luck on draft night. You can see him on NFL Network. Also, Stephen Chase says hi. He loves you more than anything in life. Not in a creepy way. Man. Not in a creepy way. But he literally, you could. One year you should just do a fake mock draft and send it to him and be like, hey, can you just look this over for me and just have it be all wrong? And he'll just walk around the office being like, did you hear about this? Did you hear about that? So
yeah,
he loves you.
If you ever meet him,
he's a good dude.
Yeah. Going for an immediate hug.
Yeah.
He'll
want the hug.
Maybe a kiss on the cheek.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, coming strong?
yeah, coming real strong. All right, well, thank you so much. We'll see you soon.
Appreciate it, guys.
All right,
later.
Daniel Jeremiah was brought to you by the Barstool Store. That's right, no cap. Pardon My Take has the best and newest hats for you this spring. We've got a wide selection of nylon panel hats, mesh back trucker hats, performance rope hats. They're the best hats that we've ever made. We've got an elite squad of hats that are debuting this spring. We even have the classic PMT football patch trucker hat for the football guy. We've got the Part of My Take rope hat for the AWL and the Larry the Goldfish rope hat for the gambler who just can't lose. You can shop PMT's newest and best-selling hats on the Barstool Sports store at store.barstoolsports.com. Hats are back. Hats are back in a big way. It's hat season coming up. Don't be caught out in the sun without a hat. Get a Part of My Take hat at the Barstool Sports store at store.barstoolsports.com.
Thanks again to Daniel Jeremiah. He will be on the NFL Network on Thursday night for the draft. Great guest, great guy. We also will have Todd McShay on Wednesday and Stephen Shea from our NFL live show. So get your questions in. We're going to do Guys on Picks with Stephen Shea. If you have questions, make sure you send them in before we tape on Tuesday. We're going draft. Hard on the draft.
Stephen Shea's never been wrong about a draft take. Ever.
Yeah. And if you specifically have a question for your team, even better. I don't have a first-round draft pick this year. Maybe I'll just judge. I'll pick a random team that I'll root for their first-round draft pick.
You know what I want to hear from Stephen? I want to hear players that are currently in the NFL, if they were in this draft, where would they go?
Always fun.
Where would Carson Wentz go this year, Stephen? Fun. I want to know that.
Always fun. Okay, where would Tom Brady go? Given his age.
Ooh.
Undrafted?
I think probably 199th. The exact same place that he went.
Actually, I'm going to ask Todd McShay that. What would he actually be drafted at this year?
Probably first overall would be my guess.
Yeah, maybe. Because you... Okay, we'll save it for Todd McShay. I don't think he's had that question yet.
I think it's got to be first overall.
I don't know, but he's only got... I guess we don't know how many years he's got left.
5?
Yeah, well,
if you're the Dolphins, he's worth a first-round pick.
Yes, he is. Yes, that's true. Okay, Billy, we have a special Billy Explains. We're trying to figure out what we do on the other side of Daniel Jeremiah tonight. We're going to do a Monday reading. We couldn't find anything great. By the way, we're now back in the Monday reading zone this summer, so if you do have anything good, tweet us. Just say Monday reading. I always search Monday reading on Twitter, so tweet us anything you want us to read. Billy, are you ready to explain to us what is going on between Elon Musk and Bill Gates?
Yes. So recently, a couple screenshots of some text messages have gone viral. They have been confirmed as real from the horse's mouth from Elon Musk, who replied to the rumored screenshots on Twitter. And so basically, at some point, Bill Gates had contacted Elon Musk in order to discuss philanthropy on climate change. So once they confirmed...
what did the text messages say?
Right, I'm about to read them.
Sorry.
Yes. So Elon Musk then texted Bill Gates back, do you still have a $500 million short position against Tesla? So basically he's asking Bill Gates, do you still have basically a gamble against Tesla?
Against me.
Rooting on my downfall.
Right.
Mm-hmm. To which Bill Gates responded, sorry to say I haven't closed it out. I would like to discuss philanthropy possibilities. Which then Musk responded, sorry, but I cannot take your philanthropy on climate change seriously when you have a massive short position against Tesla, the company doing the most to solve climate change.
Good point by Elon.
So those
are they doing the most, would you say?
I don't know.
I don't know that much about it.
Sure.
Yeah.
Good point by Elon.
I mean, they're the only electric car company I can think of.
All right, let's not say most, but they're doing something. They're not building, They're clearly trying to do something.
So what I love about Elon recently is he's just, you know how athletes always want to be musicians?
Yeah.
Athletes want to be rappers sometimes. It's like Elon Musk is the richest person in the world, but he just wants to be Dave Portnoy.
Yeah.
And so he's he's just living for these public Twitter spats and getting in the mud with people.
I don't know what switched in his brain where he's like, I just want to fuck with people. Mm-hmm. But it's very fun to watch.
That's probably what I would do if I was the world's richest person. I would get bored of everybody sucking up to me all the time and asking me for stuff. So I'd just get into troll battles with people online.
Yes. All right. So this continues.
So this was tweeted out. People were trying to figure out if it was real. It's actually very funny. Bill Gates has green texts. If you text Bill Gates, it's green.
That makes
even
sense.
though it makes sense.
Yeah, that does make sense.
But it's kind of funny to think that a billionaire has
but
broke
he's broke.
green text.
He can't be an Apple guy.
Yeah.
Although
funny.
people forget he saved Apple.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Like Bill Gates is responsible for the iPhone in a weird way.
So Elon Musk verified the text message screenshots by saying, someone asked Elon Musk, is this real? And he goes, yeah, but I didn't leak it to the New York Times. They must have gotten it through friends of friends. I heard from multiple people at TED that Gates still had $500 million short against Tesla, which is why I asked him, so not exactly top secret.
So who could have possibly leaked these?
Well, he clearly was sending it to friends being like, look at me dunk on Bill Gates.
Right, so he leaked it to his friends.
And then his friends got paid.
Yeah, he leaked it to his PR people.
Hey, let's just make a pact real quick. If any of us in this room ever become a billionaire, we agreed to like every few months leak something that then the other people in this room can sell.
Yes.
That's like such a great bro move to be like, hey, here's these text messages with Bill Gates. Go sell it to the New York Times for $30K.
Is that how the New York Times works?
I don't know. Maybe it's TMZ you got to sell it to.
Yeah, TMZ pays.
Yeah, there
top
we go.
dollars.
Boom.
So in the context of all of this, Elon Musk has recently been trying to buy Twitter aggressively, securing the funding and giving like very good offers to the Twitter board, sort of forcing their hand to see if Twitter will then have to sell it to him and then make it a privately owned company. And then he can have his way with, censorship and stuff. We'll see how that goes.
Okay.
Not to get into that, but in my opinion, I think Elon Musk is trying to get Bill Gates is trying to get Elon Musk into the fold of this like philanthropic opportunities because Elon Musk is posing a threat to like the establishment.
Yes.
So they're like, oh, we actually now have to like let him into the club because I feel like Elon Musk is a total Sigma male outside of the club type guy. So they're trying to put him in the fold, and he's like, "Nah, bro."
And then he's a real alpha, Elon Musk.
He's a Sigma.
Yeah. So
Sigma,
I do think that Elon Musk taking over Twitter would be great for shit posters like myself, because that's what he is. Like he's just kind of like an internet troll, which I actually respect. I think that Twitter should develop features that maximize troll efficiency even more. Because recently it's been like, oh, they're cracking down on us trolls. And as one, I feel like he'd do wonders for the community.
He does scare like big money people a lot.
Yeah.
They are very scared of Elon Musk because there's never been a guy like him that has that type of money and also is like a fuck you guy. Most of the time when someone gets that type of money, they fall in line pretty quickly. So that tweet he had, what was it? Was if you want to lose a boner real quick. Yeah. And it was a picture of Bill Gates with a big belly, and it had the what did Lamar Jackson say?
Why buddy pregnant?
Why buddy pregnant? Emoji.
It also has the emoji of the new Apple emoji of a guy.
Yeah, the why buddy pregnant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Bill Gates does have a nice set on him.
Dude,
They're
Bill
like
Gates
solid B cups.
Still the weirdest part about Bill Gates is he's one of the richest guys in the world. And he had a deal with his wife that he got to go to like on a vacation with his high school girlfriend once a year to fuck. It's like you could
very weird.
That really your high school girlfriend
or was it a high school?
No,
girlfriend?
no, it was his high school girlfriend. It was the same age.
He was going to Epstein's Island.
No, well, yeah, he was on the flight
that's
log.
what caused the divorce.
Yeah, that is
she
true.
admitted that.
Yeah,
that's true. But it's
probably valid grounds, I would say.
I guess, yeah, it's just a very bizarre thing to be like, all right, honey, kids, I'm off to the Maldives again because I got to hang out with the first girl I shared a kiss with in 1962.
Yeah, Rachel and I are going to go out to the South Pacific and listen to old Pink Floyd albums.
Yeah,
like
find each other's body.
Yeah.
Like,
what? It's very strange. Also, if you were the second or third richest person in the world, whatever Bill Gates is, the first thing I would get rid of the man tits. Like that's day one, right?
Bezos did it.
Just get it liposucked
Get on
out.
that TRT.
Bezos is juice the gill.
Yeah, he looks awesome.
He's living life, going to space.
It is true. Like if you're that rich, you really have no excuse.
No excuse.
You have to be in decent shape.
He also did. Bill Gates has had the worst post-divorce like midlife crisis ever.
Yeah,
he's just flying from town to town talking to people about drinking water, which I guess is good.
Do you think
you're
Bill
trying
Gates
to save people's lives? But like if you're going to get divorced at that age, you got to sow some of those wild oats.
Do you think Bill Gates could hit a slow pitch softball?
No,
that makes me feel good.
No,
because that's like one of those things that you always, You know what I mean? It makes you feel good.
I don't
just
think
knowing like, yeah, that guy invented computers in the world, and he's done everything for like he's basically shaped history. But let me get a little fucking 10-foot arc on his ass. He won't be able to hit that.
I don't think that there's a sport in the world that Bill Gates is better than me at.
There's probably some really rich sport we're not thinking of.
Highlight.
Yeah, or like killing like poor people.
Yeah, on an island.
We're not good at that.
Going the most dangerous game.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would suck at that.
Yeah, he would be really good at that. So
is that a sport?
Be careful. They definitely make that a sport. If you're that rich, absolutely.
Yeah, I've seen that Korean game show.
Yeah, good explanation, Billy. You got one more? You got more?
Well, I think people like Elon Musk more than Bill Gates because when Elon Musk tells you he wants to put a chip in your brain and like hook you up to a robot internet thing, whereas other people just lie.
Yeah, he's being like upfront about his supervillainry.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Yeah, I respect that.
You can definitely deal with that if they just tell you beforehand.
Yeah.
And that's all.
Okay. Good job, Billy. We'll do another explain when we don't have a Monday reading. I like it. Another just random topic that's in the news.
We're actually doing Elon Musk as the topic on macrodosing this week.
Oh, there you go. There you go.
Isn't Elon a big boy too?
Yeah, he's a hoss.
Is he a hoss?
I don't think he's a hoss.
I think
he's definitely not a hoss.
I think he's like 6'1", right?
He also had a 3-way.
He's not a hoss. How tall is he?
Yeah,
he's not a hoss.
4, 6'3".
He's not a hoss.
But he's wide.
What's his baby's name?
Xenon or whatever.
Yeah, not a hoss.
He had a 3-way with Cara Devine and Amber Rose.
Not a hoss.
He's not. I don't.
You can't be the richest person in the world and be a hoss. Hoss implies a certain level of like blue collarness.
Steve Ballmer's a hoss.
He's 6'2". That's
true. Yeah, he got out hossed.
Steve Ballmer is a hoss. He's 6'1.5".
I think he's around like 240.
Really?
Yeah.
And he's definitely on the like TRT shit. Too.
No, he's not juicing.
You don't think so?
No, he's got a belly.
He's got to be.
He's probably got he's got the chip he wants to put in everyone else. He definitely he's
has
like Iron
already.
Man.
Yeah,
he's Iron Man.
Right. He's got hair plugs.
Yeah.
4 or 5. 5.
I mean that's crazy.
6.
69.
41.
Hank, you still haven't gotten it right.
Correct.
What's your number?
Really?
5.
5.
25.
22.
Never got
28 out of play. I'll do an update this week.
All right.
For an update.
Love it. Maybe make it like a cool graph or something like Kirk Goldsberry.
Okay.
Yeah, the heat map.
Oh, you could do it where the ball's 45.
Wow, Billy's favorite president.
Yep. You could do it where like the balls that have been picked like 9 times are bigger. You know what I mean? Than the little ones.
I might need some help, but we'll make it
Don't
happen.
look at me.
No, I know.
Okay. I was gonna say I don't know. I re-downloaded Microsoft Paint the other day.
Yeah.
Because Will Compton's fucking fat ass body was on.
4th time, 45.
That guy's still trying to be in the NFL. Did you see that pic?
Yeah, playoff Willie.
Yikes, dude.
It looks like Bill Gates.
I waited till my second kid to gain 25 pounds.
Love you guys.
Poultry are culled if they're infected with avian bird flu to protect native wildlife from the avian bird flu.
Free Glenn Taylor.
Love you guys.